From Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California, the New York Mets meet the Los Angeles Dodgers in the Dodgers home opener. Rheingold Beer brings you National League Baseball with the New York Mets. Rheingold, New York City's largest selling beer. And what a remarkable thing that is. In New York, a city of so many different people with different tastes, one beer has become the favorite, Rheingold Extra Dry. Now, we don't know why so many people like our beer, but we must be doing something right. Tonight's game is also brought to you by Kool. Come up to Kool for the most refreshing coolness you can get in any cigarette. Smoke Kool Filter King. And by the Shell Oil Company, makers of Super Shell, the gasoline for good mileage. Stop at the clean white pump for Super Shell. Well, hi, everybody. Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner from Dodger Stadium. Player introductions have just been completed. A crowd of some 45,000 anticipated. Magnificent midsummer weather, a perfect night for a ball game. The pitchers tonight, Claude Osteen for the Dodgers on their home opener. For the New York Mets, 43-year-old Warren Spahn. And we'll be posting the lineups and the batting orders and getting underway with the play-by-play in just a minute. Say, is this one of those nights when you're not yourself? Even if you are, you'll feel more so when you listen to this.
Oh, I'm not myself at all, Molly dear, I'm not myself at all.
This song gets sung over and over at Irish parties and picnics until the singers raise a ferocious thirst. Then they change their tune.
Come fill up your glasses and drink what you will. I'm a man you don't meet every day.
This is a traditional Irish drinking song, and often the beer they drink is Rheingold Extra Dry. In fact, in New York City, where there are more Irish than in the whole of Dublin, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do Irish Americans like Rheingold? We don't know. But we must be doing something right.
I'm a man you don't meet every day, every day. I'm a man you don't meet every day.
The magnificent voice you heard singing our national anthem during the flag-raising ceremonies here at Dodger Stadium, tonight being the Dodger home opener, was that of the great Wagnerian opera star Lawrence Melchior. The color guard from the nearby Naval Reserve Training Center. Casey Stengel and Walter Alston, the starting lineups and the squads have both been introduced to the crowd here at Dodger Stadium. Right now, Tom Gorman takes his umpiring team out to home plate. Captain Maury Wills of the Dodgers, who will not be in the starting lineup in tonight's game, brings the lineup slip out for Los Angeles, and Casey Stengel will bring it out for the New York Mets. Dodgers were hoping that Maury Wills would be in the game tonight, but Maury, after trying it out a little bit during practice, decided it would be best not to take a chance of aggravating the muscle pull at his side that he got in against Philadelphia. Tonight's broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of Rheingold Breweries Incorporated, Brown & Williamson Tobacco Corporation, and the Shell Oil Company. Now the first ball has just been thrown out here at Dodger Stadium by 11-year-old Nick Giglio of Torrance, who became the 50,000th Boy Scout enrolled by the Los Angeles Council. So to him, the honor has gone of tossing out the first ball here at Dodger Stadium this year. Now here are the starting lineups and batting orders. And this is a 3-game series, all 3 games to be played under the lights. We'll be broadcasting each of the 3 back to New York, broadcast time 10:55 p.m. A 3-game series in which the New York Mets will be hitting against Claude Osteen, Don Drysdale, Sandy Koufax. For New York, Casey has a right-handed batting lineup on the field. Cleon Jones will be in right field, batting leadoff. Roy McMillan playing shortstop, batting second. Joe Christopher will be in left field, batting third. Jim Hickman will be at first base, batting cleanup. Charlie Smith playing third and batting number 5. Billy Cowan will be at center field, batting number 6. Bobby Klaus will be at second base, hitting 7th. Chris Cannizzaro behind the plate, batting 8th. On the mound and batting 9th, the winningest left-hander in the history of Major League Baseball, a man who on Friday will celebrate his 44th birthday, Warren Spahn. And the Dodgers take the field. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, with Maury Wills out of the game tonight, Dick Tracewski will be at shortstop leading off. Otherwise, the Dodger lineup will be the same lineup that opened for the Mets at Shea Stadium. Wes Parker will be at first base, batting second. Willie Davis in center field, hitting third. Tommy Davis in left field, batting cleanup. Johnny Roseboro behind the plate, hitting number 5. Jim Lefebvre will be the second baseman. Lefebvre off to a real good start for the Dodgers. A switch hitter, batting number 6. Ron Fairley will be in right field, hitting 7th. John Kennedy, who along with Claude Osteen came to the Dodgers in that big deal with Washington, will be the third baseman, batting 8th. And on the mound, the stylish left-hander who last year won 15 ball games at Washington, Claude Osteen. This will be Osteen's second start of the young season. He pitched a brilliant ball game and beating Pittsburgh in his first assignment. First of 3 ball games getting underway as the Mets come up to hit against Claude Osteen. The umpires for the game, Ed Sudol works the plate. Billy Williams will be at first base. Tom Gorman, the crew chief, will be umpiring at second. And Vinnie Smith will be calling the plays around third. This afternoon, the San Francisco Giants opened their home season at Candlestick Park and were beaten by the Pirates 3-1. Friend winning over Bolin. Tonight, Houston and Philadelphia are in the last of the 12th inning, tied 1-1. Today, the Red Sox beat Washington 5-2, and that was the only American League game scheduled. Right now at Dodger Stadium on a beautiful night, a perfect night for a ball game, a big crowd on hand. We're set for action, and to follow the action for you, here's Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Bob, and hello, everybody. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. Osteen to Cleon Jones. It goes high for ball 1. Cleon choked up a little bit, bluffed a bunt. He's been up 16 times this season. He's had 1 hit. He's playing right field tonight. As Bob pointed out, manager Casey Stengel has a right-hand batting lineup on the field, so he does not have Johnny Lewis or Ed Kranepool in the lineup. Here's a swing and a foul ball to the right side and out of play. 1-1, the count to Cleon Jones. Yogi Berra on the coaching lines for the New York Mets at first base, and Don Hefner is the Met coach around at third. At third base for the Dodgers, John Kennedy is even with the bag. Claude Osteen, the left-hander, now with the pitch, and it's swung on and foul out to the right side again and out of play. 1-2 to Cleon Jones. The Dodgers are playing Cleon straight away. Roy McMillan is on deck now for the Mets. Claude Osteen came to the Dodgers from the Washington Senators. Here's a swing and a foul ball as Cleon continues to spray him around the ballpark. Opening night souvenirs here in Los Angeles, California. Temperature got up to 84 degrees this afternoon here in Los Angeles. Osteen looks in to get a sign from John Roseboro. Deals a pitch that's hit on the ground. A slow roller toward third. Osteen has no play, and Cleon's on with a base hit. A swinging roller down the third baseline, and Osteen came off the mound over near the line, backhanded the ball, but made no effort to throw, and Cleon Jones is on with a leadoff base hit. That brings up Roy McMillan, who's been up 22 times and had 3 hits this season. He's a right-hand batter. Everybody bats right-handed in the Met batting order tonight, with the exception of pitcher Warren Spahn, who's number 9 in the order. The Dodgers continue with a straightaway defense against Roy McMillan. Osteen working off the stretch now. There's a pitch out, and nothing is on. It's ball 1. You'll recall that the Dodgers were in New York to open the Mets' home season. And the Mets now are returning the compliment by coming here to Los Angeles to open the Dodger home season. Runner goes, swinging a ground ball to short. Trzaskowski charges and can't come up with it. And on at first is McMillan. Moving to second is Cleon Jones. It was a roller toward short, and Trzaskowski is being charged with an error. Trzaskowski is charged with an error. He had started over a step or two to cover. The hit-and-run play was on. It was a slow roller, and he decided to charge it and overran it. So McMillan's on at first on the error. Cleon Jones moving to second on the play, and Joe Christopher's coming up. So the Mets have runners at first and second now off Osteen with nobody out. Christopher has been up 21 times and had 6 hits. He's had a home run and 3 runs batted in. He is hitting .286. Osteen looks for his sign. Dodger defense shades Christopher slightly toward left field. This pitch is low for a ball. Osteen has won 1 and lost none so far this season. He has not pitched against the Mets ever. He won his first start for the Dodgers at Pittsburgh on April 14th, 3-1. He allowed only 2 hits, and he struck out 8 in defeating the Pirates. Osteen sets, deals a pitch, and it is bunted up into the air and over the head of pitcher Osteen. He chases it back and has no play, and the bases are loaded. He started to follow through on the pitch, and it scored as a base hit, of course, for Christopher, who actually popped the butt up, but popped it over the head of Osteen. He tried to scramble back across the mound to the backside, couldn't get it. Finally did recover, had no play, and the Mets have loaded the bases without getting the ball out of the infield. Christopher has bunted his way on, and that brings up Jim Hickman, who is playing first base tonight in place of Ed Kranepool. Hickman is a right-hand batter. There is nobody out, and the Mets have loaded him up here in the top half of the first inning. Osteen taking a moment on the backside of the mound. Working straight away now, gets the sign from John Roseborough. Takes a look over to Cleon Jones, who bluffs to start from third. Here's the pitch, and it's low to Jim Hickman for ball 1. Hickman's been up only 3 times this season without a hit, appearing in pinch hitting roles on each occasion. This is the first game that Hickman has started. Here's a pitch, and it's in for a called strike. Ed Sudol, the umpire behind the plate tonight. This is the same umpiring crew that worked at Shea Stadium this past weekend. The count to Hickman is 1-1 with the bases loaded. Nobody out. Osteen's pitch swung on and hit in the air to right. Fairley comes after it and makes the catch. Tagged is Jones. He's coming home. The throw to the plate. He is out at the plate. He's out at the plate. A double play. Moving on to third is McMillan, and holding at first is Christopher. Hickman hit the ball in the air to right field. Ron Fairley came in, made the catch. Cleon Jones tagged and was thrown out at the plate. A perfect throw by Fairley to John Roseborough, and he had Cleon Jones sliding at the plate. McMillan tagged at second and moved to third, so now there are 2 men out. Runners at first and third, and Charlie Smith coming up. Charlie Smith has been up 20 times and had 3 hits, a double, and 1 run batted in. A big play for the Dodgers here in the top half of the first inning, and that has the big crowd buzzing. Osteen sets now and checks. Here's a swing and a miss for strike 1 to Charlie Smith. That ball left the bat. It looked as though the Mets were certainly were going to get 1 run out of it. Here's a pitch in for a call, strike 2. Come out off of that one and add it in there. Osteen came to the Dodgers with infielder John Kennedy from the Senators in exchange for Frank Howard, Ken McMullen, Phil Ortega, and Pete Rickard in one of the big winter deals. Here's a pitch to Smith. Fastball tight. It's 1-2. Roseboro walks out in front of the plate and now tosses the ball back to Osteen, who has drawn the honor of pitching in the home opener. The big 4, of course, of the Dodger pitching staff right now is Drysdale, Koufax, Osteen, Padres. 1-2 pitch to Charlie Smith outside. It's 2-2. The Mets left New York at 9:30 this morning, flying directly to Los Angeles, and arrived here at about noon Los Angeles time. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out to retire the side. So it's the first strikeout for Osteen. He got out of trouble, and in the top half of the first, the Mets got no runs. They had 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 left. And the score at the end of a half inning is the Mets nothing, and the Dodgers coming to bat. And here's a driving tip from the makers of Super Shell, the good mileage gasoline.
Want to keep your car looking new? Then never dust it with an ordinary cloth. That's one of 3 car care tips from local Shell dealers. Listen.
Dusting with an ordinary cloth, no matter how light your touch, can scratch the paint finish with tiny dirt particles. Instead, wash the car. 2, borrow the wife's clear nail polish to touch up scratched chrome. Every nick gives rust a foothold. 3, check the little drain holes underneath each car door. Unclog them, if necessary, with a nail. Clogged drain holes trap water inside the doors, and that can rust a hole right through.
If you want to keep your car looking new, remember those 3 tips from local Shell dealers. Never dust with an ordinary cloth. Touch up scratched chrome with clear nail polish. Keep drain holes under the doors unclogged. And here's a tip to help keep your car running like new. Regular Shell lubrication. With every Shell lubrication, your Shell dealer gives your car a thorough checkup free. Service is his business.
For the Dodgers now, Dick Tracewski, the shortstop, is up to lead off. Captain Maury Wills is not in the lineup. Last Sunday at Philadelphia, he dived for a ball and pulled a side muscle, and so is not in the starting lineup here for the home opener tonight. Warren Spahn on the mound for the New York Mets. Dips into the fluid windup, and here's the pitch to the right-hand batter. It's taken high and away for a ball. Spahn making his second start for the Mets. Last Wednesday, he worked 8 innings against the Houston Astros, gave up 3 runs, 7 hits. He was lifted for a pinch runner after hitting a double. Here's a swing and a ground ball going up the middle for a base hit for Tracewski. Charged by Billy Cowan. Returns it to the infield, and Tracewski is on with a leadoff single. That brings up Wes Parker. Parker has been up 15 times and had 4 hits, 1 double, and 1 triple. He's hitting .267, right-hand batter. Wes Parker, the first baseman for the Dodgers. Warren Spahn looking in for a sign from Chris Cannizzaro. Jim Hickman holds against the runner at first. And the pitch is low and away as Parker squared the butt, but laid off and took it for ball 1. Warren Spahn on the mound for the Mets will be 44 years old on Friday of this week. Won more games than any other left-hand pitcher in the history of the major leagues, 356. He won them all with the Braves in Boston and Milwaukee. Here's a throw over and not in time. He's back safely. Spahn with that good move to first base. Last year with the Milwaukee Braves, Spahn won 6 and lost 13. Against the Dodgers last year, he won 1 and he lost 1. Here's a pitch, and it swung on and fouled out to the right side and out of play. He took the full cut. He was not bunting on that one. Jim Hickman was charging from his position at first base. Spahn's lifetime record against the Dodgers is 23 wins and 35 losses. No score here in the bottom half of the first inning. The Mets had the bases loaded with nobody out, but didn't get a run as the double play and the strikeout got Osteen out of the inning. Now Parker squares, bunts the ball down to first base line. Canizero throws to second, and he's out at second base. Throw taken down there by McMillan. And so Wes Parker's on at first with an unsuccessful sacrifice attempt. He is charged with a time at bat as he has forced leadoff man Tracewski. That play going 2-6 if you're scoring. Now Willie Davis is up for the Dodgers with a batting average of .273. He's been up 11 times, had 3 hits, a double, a home run. He hit that one at Shea Stadium. 2 runs batted in. The Dodgers on top in the National League standings with a record of 3 wins and 1 loss. Charlie Smith, even with the edge of the grass at third, against the speed of Willie Davis at the plate. Spahn's pitch is high and tight. Canizero throws to first, not in time. Hickman takes the throw off the bag. Wes Parker is back safely. Tommy Davis is on deck for the Dodgers. One away and a runner at first. The Mets come into tonight's game with a record of 2 wins and 4 losses. Spahn's throw to first is not in time. Parker's back safely. Jim Gilliam is the Dodger coach at first base. Preston Gomez is the Dodger coach at third. Spahn checks and throws over again. Parker back safely. Now Spahn throws once again, and the ball gets away from Hickman. It's rolling back toward the stands, and moving on to second is Wes Parker. Well, Spahn tried the quick throw that time, not off the stretch, but he was off the rubber, and he fired over, and Hickman was caught more unawares than was Parker, and Hickman is charged with an error on the play. So Parker moves to second. Count to Willie Davis at the plate is still ball 1. Ball hit Hickman's glove and then rolled on back toward the stand, so there was no play made on Parker as he moved to second. Spahn checks and deals a pitch high for a ball. It's 2-0. Mets have their defense shaded slightly toward right on Willie Davis. Parker leads at second base with 1 man out, and here is a bluff throw, and diving back in safely is Parker. No throw made. McMillan moved into the bag, and Spahn did not complete the throw as he made the pivot. Now a 2-0 pitch. Swung on and foul back off the screen and out of play. Kevin Collins, the 18-year-old Met infielder, underwent successful surgery on a muscle tear or rupture under his right shoulder today. Dr. Peter Lamott, the Met surgeon, said that he had to sew 3 separate sections of the muscle. He said the injury evidently was suffered about a week ago, but he had no inkling of what caused the injury. Collins will recuperate in the hospital in New York for 4 or 5 days and then rest for about 4 weeks at his home in Springfield, Massachusetts, before resuming workouts. Ron Hunt did not make the trip. Here's a pitch swung on and missed for strike 2. It's 2-2 to Willie Davis. Hunt did have a light workout today at Shea Stadium. He's recovering from a painfully jammed middle finger of the right hand. That injury was sustained in a handball game before spring training. He has not appeared in the game since the 4th week of March in an exhibition game. He's had trouble gripping a bat or a ball, but he did have a workout at Shea Stadium today. Now Spahn checks Parker at second. Here's the 2-2 pitch, sidearm delivery, inside. Runs the count out full 3-2 to Willie Davis. No score, and we're in the bottom half of the first inning here at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Now Spahn checks, and the payoff pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to third. Taken by Charlie Smith. He goes across the diamond to Hickman in time. Wes Parker moves to third. No play on him there. 2 men out. A runner at third, and Tommy Davis coming up. Tommy Davis is hitting clean up. He's been up 15 times and had 3 hits. Hitting .200 for the Dodgers. The Mets, of course, are off to their fastest start in history. They won their first game and their third outing, and they made it 2 victories in their 6th contest. That was the second game of the Sunday doubleheader when they beat the Giants 7-1. Before this year, the Mets opened with losing streaks of 9, 8, and 4. Well, it's Bunnyhead out in front of the plate, taken by Canizero. He fires to Hickman, and he's out. Canizero alert out there to grab that bunt as Tommy Davis was bunting for a base hit, but was thrown out by Canizero. The Dodgers, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. And the score at the end of an inning is the Mets nothing and the Dodgers nothing, and here's Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Lindsay, just to remind you of the schedule, the Mets will return home to Shea Stadium not until the month of May. They return on the 4th of May, and they'll be playing the Philadelphia Phillies on that day. 2 night games in a row, the first 2 of the season on the 4th and 5th. After day off on the 6th, they will play Milwaukee, a night game on the 7th, a ladies' day game on the 8th, a doubleheader on Sunday the 9th. Then again, a day off, and then the St. Louis Cardinals come in for a night game and a day game on Tuesday and Wednesday. After that, it'll be Cincinnati for a night game Friday, a ladies' day game on Saturday, and a doubleheader on Sunday. So the Mets will take on some strong contenders when they return home in May, playing Philadelphia, Milwaukee, St. Louis, and Cincinnati. Tickets are available all during the weekdays at Shea Stadium, also on weekends. Weekdays from 8 to 6, weekends from 9 to 5. Pennsylvania Station in the Long Island waiting room. The tickets available there from 8 to 6 on weekdays, from 8:30 to 4 on Saturdays. And also Grand Central Terminal, open 8 to 6 on weekdays, Saturdays from 8:30 to 4. At Macy's, open during the store hours, and that's in Huntington. And also tickets reservations can be made for box and reserve seats at all the Howard Close stores. Now, once again, here's Lindsay.
All right, Ralph. Billy Cowan's up to lead off in the top half of the second inning for the Mets. He's been up 5 times this year without a hit. He's a right-hand batter. Claude Osteen deals a pitch, and it's swung on and missed for strike 1. Here's the final score in Philadelphia. In 13 innings, the Phils have defeated the Houston Astros 2-1. Phil's got a run in the bottom of the 13th to win it. Jack Balshin, the winning pitcher. Hal Woodishick is the loser. Here's a fastball low. It's ball 1, 1-1. No home runs in that game in Philadelphia. Ken Johnson started for Houston, Jim Owens in the 8th, Woodishick in the 11th, Claude Raymond in the 13th. Here is a swing and a miss. 1-2 to Billy Cowan. Ray Herbert started for the Phils, Ed Roebuck in the 9th, and Jack Balshin in the 11th. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swung on and fouled off to the right side and out of play. The count holds at 1-2 to Cowan. Catch made in the stands. So this afternoon, the Pirates defeated the Giants 3-1 in the Giants' home opener at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And tonight, the Phillies have defeated Houston. Here's a pitch low. This is the only game now going on the National League schedule. No other game scheduled. There was only one game scheduled in the American League today, and Boston beat Washington 5-2. Here's a swing and a looper down the right field line. It's going to be in there for a Billy Cowan base hit. Rounds first on his way to second. Taken by Fairley. He throws to second, and Cowan goes in standing with a double. Ball gets away, but it's backed up by shortstop Tracewski, and it is Billy Cowan's first hit as a New York Met. It is an extra base hit. He looped it down the right field line and used that speed to go in standing with a leadoff double. That is the 3rd hit for the Mets off Claude Osteen. Now Bobby Klaus is coming up with a runner at second and nobody out. In the National Hockey League and the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Montreal Canadiens 2, the Chicago Blackhawks nothing. That's final. Montreal leads in the best-of-7 final series 2-0. Bobby Klaus had been up 22 times and had 3 hits, 1 home run, and it was a game-winning home run for the Mets. John Kennedy with the edge of the grass at third for the Dodgers. Klaus squares, takes it in there for a strike. Ready to bunt the ball to move Cowan on down to third, but took it as a called strike. Tomorrow night here, Don Drysdale for the Dodgers against Carl Willie, starting for the Mets. Osteen looks to Roseboro. Now checks and deals and has a swing and a foul ball back and out of play. 2-strike count to Bobby Klaus. As of 5:30 this afternoon, New York time, no action had been taken on the Mets' application to have Kevin Collins placed on the disabled list. Osteen with a 2-strike delivery, and it's inside for a ball, 1-2. No score, top half of the second inning. Now the 1-2 delivery, hit on the ground to short. A big hop up to Trasuski. Across to Parker in time. No advance by Cowan at second base. 1 away, and that brings up the Met catcher, Chris Cannizzaro, who's been up 14 times and had 2 hits. Chris is a native Californian. He's from San Leandro, which is in the Bay Area of San Francisco, up north. Now, Mr. Ralph Kiner, of course, has been visiting at his home in Palm Springs. Ralph, what about the weather in Palm Springs this time of the
We had a very pleasant day there, Lindsay. It was only 105.
105 degrees. That's very pleasant. Osteen's looking into Roseboro for the side. Pitches in for a called strike. 0-1. Billy Cowan leading at second base with 1 man out. Osteen's pitch is low and away for a ball. 1-1. As one would expect on opening night in Los Angeles, there is a liberal sprinkling of stars from stage, screen, radio, television, movies, everything else here tonight. 1-1 pitch, swung on and fouled off. And right now we're going to pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
810 on your dial, WGY, WGFM, Schenectady, the voice of the Mets in the great Northeast.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy here at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. No score in this game. And we're in the top half of the second inning. The Mets have a runner at second and 1 man out. The count to Chris Cannizzaro at the plate is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Osteen with a 1-2 pitch. Hit on the ground, foul, out of play.
Talking about movie stars, it didn't impress Mr. Murphy one bit because I caught him telling jokes to Milton Berle down there. Bob was telling the jokes to him.
I'll tell you, that is an upset. That's an accomplishment, actually. If you can get Milton Berle to listen while you tell a joke, you've done very well.
Well, actually, he was eating. He had a whole picnic spread laid out in front of him, so that's how I caught him.
Oh. Now, here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside for a ball. It's 2-2. Osteen Looks to Roseboro. Billy Cowan takes his lead at second base, and here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. That's the second strikeout for Osteen. And it will bring up Warren Spahn, who certainly is no slouch with the bat. He's been up 3 times this year and had 1 hit. It was a double, so he's batting .333. And Spahn is the only left-hand batter in the Met lineup here tonight. Spahn has had 36 home runs in his National League career, more than any other National League pitcher. Now the pitch, and it's a little high and a little tight. Drove him back. It's ball 1. Cleon Jones on deck now for the Mets. Again the pitch, and it's in for a called strike. 1-1. Here's a throw to second, lobbed way out there. Tracewski comes over to make the catch. Cowan is back safely. Sort of an anti-over toss out to second base. This is a 1-1 delivery. Swung on and fouled off. He just got the end of the bat on it and fouled it off the screen. 1-2.
Base runner in a throw like that, Lindsay's apt to catch it and throw it right back.
I think so. Osteen goes to the rosin bag. Playing field here appears to be in excellent condition. One-two pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground, a comebacker to Osteen. He runs toward first and tosses on to Wes Parker, and the side is out. Top of the second, the Mets no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Score at the end of an inning and a half is the Mets nothing and the Dodgers nothing. Are you one of those people who go to a German-American picnic and can't sing because you don't know the words? Then listen.
Wir kommen alle, alle, alle in den Himmel, weil wir so brav sind. La, la.
Wir kommen alle in den Himmel is a song that gets sung over and over at German parties and picnics until the singers raise a fearful thirst. Then they change their tune. Bier here is the traditional German call for beer, and often it's Rheingold Extra Dry they call for. In fact, in New York City, where there are more Germans than in all of Heidelberg, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do German Americans like Rheingold? We don't know. But we must be doing something right.
Beer here,
We're going to the bottom half of the second inning, and John Roseboro will be up to lead off for the Dodgers, facing Warren Spahn, who has just arrived at the mound to take his warm-up tosses, having been the last man up in the inning for the Mets. Mets will be here tonight, tomorrow night, Thursday night, and then they move on up to San Francisco for a weekend series. Roseboro has been up 15 times this year, and he's had 2 hits, 1 run batted in. He's batting .133. Spahn looks to Cannizzaro, starts the motion. Charlie Smith's on the grass at third. Here's the pitch, swung on and popped up to the right side. At first base, Jim Hickman is called. He's on the rim of the infield grass, and he makes the catch. So Roseboro pops out to first on the first pitch of the inning. That will bring up Jim Lefevre. He's been up 14 times and had 5 hits, 4 doubles, 1 triple, 3 runs batted in. He's hitting .357. Lefevre is a switch hitter, batting right against Warren Spahn. Every hit he's had has been an extra base hit. This pitch is in for a called strike. Again, Spahn into the motion. The strike one delivery. Swung on and chopped off foul. This one's rolling back out of play. 2 strikes to Lefevre. The Mets with an infield of Jim Hickman at first base, Bobby Klaus at second, Roy McMillan at short, and Charlie Smith at third. Joe Christopher's in left field, Billy Cowan is in center, and Cleon Jones is in right. This is a 2-strike delivery. Missing high and away, and it's 1-2. Cloud Osteen, who's pitching tonight for the Dodgers, came to them from the Washington Senators, of course, in the big trade with Washington. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Lets up, he swings and misses. It's dropped by Canizaro, picks it up, throws on, so make it a K and a 2-3. First strikeout for Spahn. He needs only 3 more to reach 2,500 in his career. Took a lot off of that one and had Lefevre way around, but the ball popped out of Canizaro's glove, and he had to chase it down a couple of feet away and fire on. Here's Ron Fairley coming up. Now, he's getting a hand for the play he made in the first inning. It resulted in a double play. He had a fine throw to the plate to nab Cleon Jones. Fairley's been up 10 times this year and had 4 hits. 1 double, 1 home run, 5 runs batted in. He leads the Dodgers in RBIs. Spahn with the pitch. High and away. With regard to the fact that there are so many ex-Dodgers on the Washington squad, local papers refer to the Washington Senators as the junior varsity. Here's a pitch that is low for a ball. It's 2-0. Thursday night here, Jack Fisher will be going for the New York Mets, and Sandy Koufax will pitch for the Dodgers. The 2-0 delivery. Swung on and fouled off down the left field line, drifting on over into the seats and out of play. Two and one. There is no score in the game. We're in the bottom half of the second inning. Here's a swing and a foul ball. It's back and out of play. 2-2 the count now. Spahn takes a moment working on the new ball. Now he's on the rubber, into the pitching motion, and the 2-2 delivery. A sidearm pitch, it swung on and ripped foul on the right field line, out of play. Barely got around on that one, pulled it foul on the right field line. Waiting on deck is third baseman John Kennedy, who bats number 8 in the Dodger batting order. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung out, hit on the ground to second. Klaus is over, scoops it up, plays to Hickman, and the side is out. Spahn gets him 1-2-3 in the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. Score at the end of 2 is the Mets nothing and the Dodgers nothing. The Mets will be coming home to Shea Stadium to open up their National League homestand on the night of May the 4th. Philadelphia Phillies will be in, and they'll be followed in by the Milwaukee Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. But on the night of May 3rd at Yankee Stadium, the Mets and the Yankees will play the Mayor's Trophy game. Tickets are now on sale at all Met ticket outlets. The proceeds from the Mayor's Trophy game go toward the purchase of equipment for sandlot baseball teams throughout New York City. Both the Mets and the Yankees pay all of their own expenses in full for the Mayor's Trophy game. This is the 3rd annual Mayor's Trophy game. The Mets won the first one 2 years ago at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees won last year at Shea Stadium, so on the night of May 3rd at Yankee Stadium. It'll be the Mets and the Yankees once again in the Mayor's Trophy game. We're going now to the top half of the third inning, and coming in here is Bob Murphy.
Okay, Lindsay, thank you very much. Cleon Jones leads off now as we go to the third inning. Cleon got the Mets off to a fast start in the opening inning with an infield hit. The Mets went on to load the bases, nobody out but the Dodgers, and Claude Osteen escaped the jam when Hickman lined the ball to right to Fairley, and Fairley made a perfect peg home to Roseboro to get Cleon for a double play. Curve is fouled off, no play. Cleon has not been pulling the ball. The ground ball he hit down the third baseline for an infield hit was only the second ball he's hit on the left side of the diamond. Roy McMillan on deck, and then Joe Christopher. Osteen delivers a swing and a foul tip held on to by Roseboro, strike two. Yogi Berra on the lines at first, Don Hefner coaching at third. Now Claude Osteen with a two-strike advantage on Cleon Jones. Delivers to the plate, low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. There was really a battery of writers and photographers surrounding Casey in the Mets dugout before tonight's opening ball game for the Dodgers. Now the 1-2 delivery, right in there, strike three called, and Cleon turns and walks away. Osteen hanging up his third strikeout. We're now getting into that time of the year which is so important to the farm directors and the scouts of Major League ball clubs. The colleges now playing their baseball schedules and being closely observed. The time when scouts must make up their minds in coordinating with the executive branch of the ball club who they want, who they don't. Fastball over, strike one call. Bing Devine is here in Los Angeles at the game tonight, watching the action and meeting with three of his scouts. Breaking ball low and inside. Rex Carr, who scouts Southern California, Arizona, and New Mexico, is here. So too is Al Lyons. 1-1 delivery. And Roy McMillan lays off. It's under the knees. 2 balls and a strike. Dutch Zwilling, who scouts the Los Angeles area, is here, so all three of the scouts are conferring with Bing as they watch the ball game here this evening. The 2-1 delivery, low and inside, and the count goes to 3-1. Roy reached safely on an error charge to Dick Trzaskowski, the shortstop, in the opening inning. Last week, the Angels opened at home with the Dodgers playing the first week on the road, and the weather was rather spotty. They even had some rain, but the weather is beautiful here now. Foul ball off the end of the bat. I guess maybe it's the luck of the Irish, Ralph, with Walter O'Malley, but the Dodgers have never been rained out yet.
Well, the Angels opened their season here last week, and they got caught by the rain, and this is rather unusual to have rain this time of year around this area.
It was a great day today. Temperature up around 80 degrees. Little smog, but Southern California residents are used to that. 3-2 delivery, fouled, back toward the press box, out of play. They got the ball game in at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, but they were hampered by rainy weather there. Bob Friend winning his second game as the Pirates beat the Giants 3-1. Bob Bolin was the loser. Willie Mays hit a home run this afternoon. Willie now is even with Mickey Mantle again. Ground ball hammered to shortstop. Trzaskowski digs it out of the dirt. The peg to first to Wes Parker is in time, 2 men away. Well, the Dodgers went out on the road the first week of the season and won 3 out of 4. They had a game rained out. And now they are home opening a 13-game homestand, so Ralph, with their pitching staff in great shape, they might get off to quite a start.
Well, they're happy about Koufax. He came through his start without a sore elbow. And Osteen right here has looked real good. Looks like they've got quite a left-handed staff going with. Padres also expected to have quite a year.
Dodgers had feared that Koufax would be a Sunday-only pitcher, but he felt so good after beating the Phillies. He's coming back on regular rotation. Slow grounder to second by Christopher. The ball flipped by Lefebvre to first base in time, and the side is out. Good play by the rookie second baseman Jim Lefebvre. He had to come in at full speed to pick up the slow roller and peg out Joe Christopher. So the Mets are out in order in the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. At the end of 2.5, the score, the Mets nothing and the Dodgers nothing. And now a word from Cool Filter Kings.
Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough until you change to Cool. Just not tasting cool enough till you come up to Cool.
What kind of cigarette do you smoke? Plain, filter, or one of those new menthols? Makes no difference. Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough till you come up to Cool's. Only Cool gives you rich, mellow tobaccos, Cool's white filter, and extra coolness. The most refreshing coolness you can get in any cigarette.
With rich tobaccos, Cool's white filter, extra coolness too. Discover extra coolness in your smoke. Let Cool's come through for you. You'll be smoking Cool all the time once you come up to Cool.
Discover extra coolness. Come all the way up to Cool. Cool Filter Kings.
Third baseman John Kennedy facing Warren Spahn. Last of inning number 3. Spahn out of his windup. The pitch low and outside, ball 1. The Dodgers now are in their 8th year here in Los Angeles. All 7 years they have played their home games in Los Angeles. They have led the major leagues in attendance. Dodgers were the only team in the majors to outdraw the Mets last year. Low and outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Before O'Malley came out here to Los Angeles, just about a complete 100% group of experts said that L.A. would never be a baseball town. It was a football town, and that anybody who came out here to play Major League Baseball, well, they should be sent to a psychiatrist.
So for 7 consecutive years, the Dodgers have led the major leagues in home attendance. Now the 2-0 delivery, a swing and a miss by John Kennedy, 2-1. Well, during the Ebbets Field days, the Dodgers were a very difficult ball club for Spahn to handle in that small ballpark with that great right-hand hitting lineup. But he lost a lot of real heartbreakers to them in those days. Line toward the alley in right center. Cowan will have to play it on a hop, a base hit. Rounding first is Kennedy. He'll hold there with a long single to right center. Since the Dodgers moved away from Ebbets Field, Spahny's lifetime record against the Dodgers has been 10 wins and 11 losses. Now the hitter is the pitcher, Claude Osteen. Claude is an Irishman, and his name is spelled O-S-T-E-E-N. You pronounce it like you were an O'Shea. Claude Osteen. Now the Mets look for the bunt. Charlie Smith in close at third. Osteen batting left-handed. Now Spahn off the stretch. Here's the pitch on the way. He's around the bunt. Bunts. Fair ball. Picked up by Hickman. The play is to first. In time. Klaus covering. And the runner moves over on a good bunt by Osteen. Fans come up to Cool for the most refreshing coolness you can get in any cigarette. Smoke Cool Filter Kings. Now the top of the Dodger batting order for Dick Tracewski. He pasted a single to center field, leading off the Dodger first inning. New York, no runs, 3 hits and 1 error. The Dodgers, no runs, 2 hits and 1 error. Warren Spahn against Claude Osteen. Tomorrow night, Carl Willey against Don Drysdale, and Thursday night, Jack Fisher against Sandy Koufax. Now Spahny kicks the leg, delivers. Screwball misses the outside corner, 1 ball and no strikes. So the Mets are coming into Dodger Stadium playing 3-night ball games and hitting against Osteen, Drysdale, and Koufax. Walter Alston was hoping, and is getting his hope, that Sandy would pitch Thursday night so he could bring him back against the Phillies. Here's the pitch on the way. Low and inside. Philadelphia comes into Los Angeles after the Mets leave town and head for San Francisco. They'll play a 4-day series, a Friday night game, a Saturday night game, Sunday afternoon, and Monday night. Meanwhile, the Mets will be at Candlestick playing the Giants Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader Sunday. The Mets on this road trip, their first of the year, play 13 games. They will be gone 2 weeks. The 2-0 delivery. Down low and inside, and Spahny Goes behind on Trzaski, 3-0. He thought he might have had a strike with that one. Ed Sudol umpiring the plate, and Spahn, who rarely makes a beef on anything, comes down off the mound and asks about the pitch. Jim Gilliam on the coaching lines at first, and Preston Gomez at third. Outfield not too deep, just about straight away. And the pitch is over for a call strike. It's 3-1. Wes Parker, a switch hitter, is the on-deck batter. When Maury Wills is in the ball game, the Dodgers have 3 switch hitters in their lineup, and that really gives you a lot of versatility. 3-1 on Dick Trzaski. The pitch by Spahn. Strike 2, he picked off the outside corner. Now we have a full count on the Dodgers shortstop and leadoff batter, Dick Trzaski. Dick Trzaski bounced around in the minor leagues, the Dodger farm system, for a long time before he got his chance. And like Dal Maxwell, who filled in so brilliantly during the World Series last year for Julian Javier, year before last, Trzaski did a brilliant fill-in job. Three and 2 as Spahn takes his sign from Cannizzaro. Ralph, I think the normal thing would be to assume that a veteran pitcher like Spahn coming to a new ball club might want to call his own ball game, but he prefers to have Cannizzaro call it because he likes the way he handles it.
That's a lot of credit for Chris.
3-2 delivery. Outside, it's ball 4, and Spahn walks Trzaski. Now the Dodgers have runners on first and second, 1 out. And it brings up Wes Parker. Wes Parker is out of that Dodger mold. He runs like a deer. Parker tried to bunt Trzaski to second base in the first inning, but Cannizzaro pounced on the bunt and rifled a throw to Roy McMillan to erase Trzaski. Parker reached on the fielder's choice and was charged with a time at bat. The pitch by Spahn. Broken bat grounder back to the mound. Spahn goes to McMillan, 1 on to first. Double play! And I'll bet you won't get Wes Parker to hit into a double play over a half a dozen times all year long. Ground ball back to the mound. It wasn't hit too hard. Spahn couldn't waste a moment. And Ralph, the way he came up with that ball throwing was really something to watch.
The whole play was executed perfectly. He just fired the ball right for the bag, and McMillan got there just perfectly. He fired on to first, and that was the only way they could make it.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. And the score at the end of 3, the Mets nothing and the Dodgers nothing. It's very hard to sell sheet music in Jamaica, you know. They make up songs whenever they need them, like this.
Having a party, eating rice and peas, dancing happily as you please. Charming lady with a very nice smile. Think I'll talk to her for a while. Think I'll talk to her for a while.
When Jamaicans get together for a party, the beat is calypso and the songs are made up on the spot.
The party was hilarious as it could be, but in the morning there was news for me. The penny whistle man play wedding tune on his pipe. The smiling lady is now my wife. The smiling lady is now my wife.
And when the singer finds his throat a little dry, something refreshing will be improvised. Probably Rheingold beer. In New York City, where there are more different kinds of people than in any other city in the world, more people drink Rheingold Extra Dry than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do Jamaicans like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
Now Jim Hickman leading off the 4th inning of the ball game. No score. And the pitch is outside to Jim, ball 1. Jim was hitting with the bases loaded, nobody out in the first inning when he hit a line drive to right field that Ron Fairley caught. Then Fairley made a perfect peg home to turn it into a double play. Hit right back to the mound. Handled by Osteen. He throws to first. Hickman is an easy out. Spahn pitched without any luck in the opening assignment at Shea Stadium. He was leading 2-1. Needed a ground ball for a shot at 2 and made the hitter hit the ball on the ground as short. It took a bad hop over McMillan's shoulder into the outfield, driving in 2 runs. Spahn did not figure in the decision. Spahn doubled in the 8th inning and then left the ball game for a pinch runner. Now Charlie Smith, the batter. 1 ball and no strikes. Lefty Claude Osteen on the mound. Charlie bunts the ball down the line, picked up quickly by Osteen. The peg to first. Out on a close play. Good fielding by Osteen, and Charlie almost beat that one for a base hit. That was a look and listen play as Charlie tried to bunt his way on. Well, Ralph, as they said in the old days of radio, according to the big clock on the wall, well, according to the big clock on the scoreboard here in Dodger Stadium, it's 9 o'clock. That means 12 o'clock back home. We're now early AM sports announcers. Pitch to Cowan is over for a strike, and Lindsay said we couldn't do radio in the early hours of the morning.
We're proving them wrong right now, are we?
Billy Cowan waiting, a swing and a miss in the count, strike 2. Mets had a golden shot in the opening inning when they loaded the bases, nobody out. But Ron Fairley made the key play with a strong throw home to nail Cleon Jones after he caught Hickman's line drive. A swing and a miss, he struck him out. So Claude Osteen gets the side 1-2-3. He now has retired 9 straight hitters. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. At the end of 3.5 innings, the score, the Mets nothing and the Dodgers nothing. Here's a driving tip from the makers of Super Shell, the gasoline for good mileage.
Want to add thousands of extra miles to the life of your tires? Try these 3 tips from local Shell dealers.
1, keep tires up to the pressure your owner's manual recommends. Just 1 pound short can cost you 600 miles of tire life. 2, avoid unnecessarily high speeds. At 70 miles an hour, tires wear out nearly twice as fast as at 45. 3, park with care. Banging into the curb can break tire cords and can also throw wheels out of alignment. That can increase tire wear by up to 50%.
If you want to get maximum wear from your tires, remember those 3 tips from local Shell dealers. Keep your tires up to the right pressure. Avoid unnecessarily high speeds. Don't bang into the curb. And here's another tip. When you do need a new tire, see a Shell dealer. He'll help you choose the one that's best and the best value for your car. Your Shell dealer is always glad to help you. Service is his business.
Last of the 4th inning. The slender outfielder with the Mercury feet. Willie Davis leading off against Warren Spahn. Spahn out of his windup, the pitch to Davis. He has to jump back and take it inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Willie was thrown out by Charlie Smith his first time up. Charlie playing in close at third against Willie Davis. Canizero setting up the target. Pitch by Spahn. Hit on the ground, foul. Gilliam has to jump back and get out of the way of it. Jim Gilliam takes batting practice each day with the Dodgers. He's in tip-top shape, and should any of the Dodger infielders falter, Gilliam could be activated and step right into the lineup. Gilliam had a tough decision to make at the end of last year when he was offered the coaching job because he felt he could still play for a couple of more years. The 1-1 delivery. Swing and a foul tip held on to by Canizero. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the Dodgers are certainly opening their home season on a happy note this evening. They have been cheered to the heights by the news that Sandy Koufax is not a Sunday pitcher. But Sandy will take his turn every 4th day. And he'll pitch against New York in the last game of this series Thursday night. Pitching 1-2. A check swing, line drive, base hit through the hole into right field. He was trying to hold up on his swing, hit a breaking ball. He had the bat just kind of laying out there over the plate, like it was suspended in midair. Spahn provided the momentum, and the ball was pulled through the hole into right field. So the Dodgers have their 3rd hit, and they have a great speedster in Willie Davis on the line. So now Spahn will be keeping a close eye on him. Willie was 3rd in the National League in stolen bases last year, trailing Maury Wills and Lou Brock. Well, the defending world champion St. Louis Cardinals off to a sluggish start. Their pitching fell apart the first week of the season, and the Cardinals have dropped 5 of their first 6 ball games. Now let's see how the Dodgers play it. Tommy Davis, the hitter. Tommy had a great spring. The pitch by Spahn drives him back from the plate inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Big ballpark here in Los Angeles, and a real good pitcher's ballpark. breeze tonight is from right field across toward left. A pitch out, no throw by Canizero. Nothing was on. Now Warren Spahn getting a sign from Chris. He's behind 2-0 on Tommy Davis. Willie Davis on first, nobody out, last half of the fourth inning. The pitch by Spahn. Ground ball bounced towards second, taken by McMillan. He steps on second, throws to first, double play. Mets make their second double play in 2 innings. This time, Roy McMillan handling the grounder near second, stepping on second, and throwing to Hickman. 2 outs, nobody on. That brings up Johnny Roseboro. Roseboro, hitless and 1 time up, was retired on a pop fly to Jim Hickman, his first time at bat. Overhand fastball is in, strike 1 call. Charlie Smith just about even with the bag, wide of the line at third. McMillan astride towards second. Strike 2 called. He came right back, let her high. And now Spahn has Johnny Roseboro 2 strikes. Last year was an off year for the Dodgers, but one of the few Dodgers who had an exceptionally good year was Johnny Roseboro. Roseboro lashes the bat around, now cocks it. A high pop-up into short left over toward the line. McMillan, a long, long run. Across the line, makes the grab. And the side is out as McMillan runs it down across the line in foul territory. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, none left on. Now at the end of 4 innings, the score, the New York Mets nothing and the Los Angeles Dodgers nothing. Ralph?
The brand new 1965 Mets yearbook is fresh off the presses and ready for you. It has all the up-to-date facts and figures on our amazing Mets, plus 258 action photographs. Lifetime records of all the Mets, including the first-year men, are there in complete detail. And as a special extra, there's a full-size squad picture on the back cover, which is suitable for framing. There's a special section on new Mets Yogi Berra and Warren Spahn, with plenty of pictures. To get the new 1965 Mets yearbook, send in 50 cents to Mets Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. That's Mets Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Well, right here we're going to the top of the 5th inning. The score at 0-0. A fine pitcher's duel going on here between 2 fine left-handers, Claude Osteen and Warren Spahn. And once again, here's Bob Murphy.
Now Bobby Klaus comes up against Claude Osteen in the 5th inning. Bobby was thrown out by Dick Tracewski, the Dodgers shortstop, in the 2nd inning. Each team has 3 hits. The Mets have had the only really menacing threat. They had the bases loaded, nobody out in the 1st inning, but a strike from the outfield by Ron Fairley turned a line drive into a double play and saved a run. 1 ball and no strikes to Bobby Klaus. Now Osteen winds. Here's his pitch on the way. Ground ball bounced to short. Big hop taken by Tracewski. A high throw, safe at first base. High peg by Tracewski. It'll be a throwing error. That was going to be a close play. The reason that was a close play, Ralph Tracewski, he knew he had to get something on it, and he really reached back, didn't he?
He took a couple of extra little steps and fired it, and the ball just took off into the air. Good play on the play at first base. Keep the ball from going into the stands.
So Dick Tracewski draws his 2nd error of the game, and that brings up Canizero. Now Chris looking for his sign from Don Hefner as he steps in. Warren Spahn is the on-deck batter, and then Cleon Jones. No score, the mound duel unfolding between Claude Osteen and Warren Spahn. Now Parker holds against the runner, the pitch. Curve is in, strike 1 call. Chris did not square around. Chris, the number 8 hitter in the order. Dodger Stadium has been a rugged stopping point for the last 3 years for the New York Mets. Had more trouble winning here than any place else. He's around the bunt, doesn't offer, it's outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The first 2 years the Mets were in operation. The Dodgers won 16 of the 18. Last year they won 15 of the 18. the Dodgers have a ball club that is mighty hard to beat in this ballpark. Osteen delivers, grounder foul on a hit-and-run play. Yogi makes the play on the lines at first. The hand is for Yogi. Then Scully was around looking for Yogi. He wanted to do a pregame radio show with him this evening, and he said, "Where's Yogi?" He said, "Take a look in that batting cage." And there's Yogi crouched behind the plate catching batting practice. Here's the pitch. Ground ball bounced to second base. Lefebvre to second for one. The ball is dropped, but he's out at second. Tom Gorman says he had the play made. Now here comes Casey. You'll recall they were trying to tighten up the interpretation of the rule as to possession. But Tom Gorman says that in this case, he definitely maintained possession and that he definitely was throwing the ball to first base when he dropped it. Pretty hard to question an umpire's judgment on that particular play, and yet it's a pretty hard play to judge. Now Warren Spahn is up. Spahn was thrown out. Pitcher to first, his only time at bat. Breaking ball over, strike one call. Mets nothing and the Dodgers nothing. We're in the fifth inning. Wes Parker holding against Canizero. The pitch to Spahn, a swing and a miss, strike two. Claude Osteen, who started out in the Cincinnati organization, was traded on to Washington, where he became, without a doubt, one of the best pitchers Washington has had since the days of men like Walter Johnson. He won 15 ball games last year with a ball club that had a lot of trouble winning. Throw to first. Not in time. We're not trying to compare Osteen with Walter Johnson or anything like that, but just that the fans in Washington felt like he had as much talent as anybody they've had since those glory days. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch. He struck him out. It's 5 strikeouts for Claude Osteen. He struck out 8 in beating Pittsburgh in his first start of the year on a 2-hitter. So Claude Osteen has his 5th strikeout. It brings up Cleon Jones. Cleon was called out of the 3rd inning, got an infield hit his first time up, 1 hit and 2 trips. Against Osteen, an outstanding left-hander, Casey tonight decided not to play. Johnny Lewis and Eddie Kranepool, both left-hand hitters. Swing and a miss, strike one. Dennis Musgraves, the young right-hander who was in spring training with the Mets and who received the largest bonus in Mets history, was the winning pitcher for Buffalo last night. Buffalo beating Columbus 3-2. Parker holding against the runner. Pitch to Cleon. A ground ball tapped back toward the mound, taken by Osteen. He turns and throws in time for the out. He almost uncorked a high peg. And through the oohs and the ahs. Side out in the 5th inning with no runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left on. So we've come halfway at the end of 4.5 innings to score. The New York Mets nothing and the Los Angeles Dodgers nothing. Here's a very sad French-Canadian song about a fellow who lost the key of his clarinet. Listen.
J'ai perdu le dos de ma clarinette. J'ai perdu le dos de ma clarinette. Ah, si papa, il savait ça, voilà.
J'ai perdu le dos de ma clarinette is a song with the kind of humor French Canadians love. But one song leads to another, and the thirst that follows is no laughing matter.
Prends un petit coup, c'est agréable. Prends un petit coup, c'est doux. Prends un gros coup, ça rend l'esprit malade.
Prendre un petit coup is what they'll sing as they reach for a beer. Probably Rheingold Extra Dry. In fact, in New York City, where there are more different kinds of people than in any other city in the world, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do French Canadians like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
Now Jim Lefebvre will lead off for the Dodgers. Last half of the 5th inning. Jim has had 2.5 years of pro ball, a year at Reno, a year at Salem, and a half a year at Spokane. Batting right-handed, he's 0 for 1. The pitch by Spahn. A grounder hit down to third. It may go foul. It does. Foul ball. Picked up by Charlie Smith, who turns it back to the mound to Warren Spahn. They have quite a baseball family. Tim Lefebvre has a twin brother, Tip, who formerly caught in the Dodger farm system. And the younger brother, Gil, was an infielder in the A's system. Inside off the shoulder, 1 ball and 1 strike. Their father, Benny Lefebvre, coached the Crenshaw Post here in Los Angeles in American Legion ball to a championship back in 1951. One time, he was the visiting bat boy here at Dodger Stadium. Swing and a miss on a beauty of a change-up breaking ball by Warren Spahn.
That's the same pitch that he struck out on the time before when he was up. The time before, the pitch was down lower. So Spahn came back and pulled another real good one.
Now Spahn has Lefebvre, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The left-hander with a big wind-up. Down comes his pitch. He struck him out, swinging. Spahn had good stuff on that one, down around the knees. And Lefebvre is struck out for the second time. 1 out and nobody on. That brings up Ron Fairley. Ron Fairley, former Southern Cal star, left-hand hitter. His defensive play, the turning point of the ball game until now. Now Spahn winds, crossfire delivery, taken high. 1 ball and no strikes. Last time Fairley was up, Spahn threw him a crossfire that was pulled foul deep down the line. Then Spahn got Fairley to ground out. Each team has 3 hits, no score. We're in the last half of the 5th inning. Ground ball to second base. Bobby Klaus in front of it. Straightens up, throws to Hickman in time, and Fairley is out. That brings up Kennedy, the third baseman. Rheingold Beer hopes you're enjoying this Mets ball game from the West Coast. We hope you'll enjoy Rheingold, New York City's largest selling beer all season long. On Friday, Spahn will be 44 years old. In about 3 weeks from now, Yogi will celebrate his 40th birthday. Yogi's birthday is the 12th of May. Spahn out of the windup, down comes the pitch. And it's over at the knees for a called strike. So whereas the Mets will be in San Francisco when Spahn becomes 44 years old, the Mets will be in New York playing the Cardinals on the 12th of May when Yogi turns 40. High fly to center field, not too deep. Camped under the ball waiting is Billy Kahn. Makes the catch, the side is out. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. 5 innings complete. The Mets no runs, 3 hits and 1 error. The Dodgers no runs, 3 hits and 2 errors. So we've got a real good mound duel unfolding here at Dodger Stadium tonight on the Dodger home opener. We saw some outstanding pitching last year. Of course, most outstanding of all was the perfect ball game, the first in over 80 years in the National League, by Jim Bunning. Remember, too, the 23-inning marathon ball game the Mets played with the Giants on May 31st. The pitching in that ball game by the Giants, Gaylord Perry, and by Larry Benarth and Galen Cisco of the New York Mets. One of the other real exciting series of the entire year last year was the wind-up series of the Cardinals. Jackson beating Gibson on Friday night, and Tom Parsons beating the Cardinals on Saturday to force the National League pennant race down to the final day. Well, moments like these are now all recorded in a brand new album called the Let's Go Mets Record Album. You'll hear the play-by-play highlights of our most memorable Mets broadcast. The voices of Casey Stengel, Ron Hunt, Al Jackson, and other top Met performers right at your own home. All you have to do to get your own copy of the Let's Go Mets Record Album is to send $3 to Mets Album, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Make your check payable to the New York Mets. Again, that's Mets Album, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. The album is enclosed in a handsome full-color jacket and costs $3. Also, the Meet the Mets song is available on record for only $1. Send your dollar to Mets song, Shea Stadium. Now we go to the 6th inning, and here's a fellow whose bat used to sing quite a song in the National League, our Mr. Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Bob, and hi to everyone. Roy McMillan to lead off here in the top of the sixth. And the first pitch by Clyde Osteen is a little bit too high. It's ball one. Roy looking down for the signs. He is 0 for 2 in the ball game. Right-hand batter, pitch back to him. Too low this time. It's ball two. 2 balls, no strikes. Mets picked up 2 hits in the first inning. Added 1 more in the second. And since then, they have been stopped all the way by the left-hand pitcher. And ball 3, fastball outside. They counted 3 balls and no strikes. Osteen has not walked the batter in the ball game, but he has come on strongly in the strikeout department. He has struck out 5. 3 balls, no strikes. And Roy takes a fastball. It's a called strike. After McMillan, the batter will be Joe Christopher, followed by Jim Hickman. Mets were their second, third, and fourth batters against the Dodgers here in Dodger Stadium. 3-1 delivery, hit on the ground down toward third. Took out a hard hop, handled nicely by Kennedy. He goes to first for the out. Tough chance for the third baseman, and he turned it in perfectly. So while Joe Christopher comes up, we'll walk out right now for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
810 on your dial, WGY, WGFM, Schenectady, the voice of the Mets in the great Northeast.
Ralph Kiner along with Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Beautiful night for baseball. The temperature during the day somewhere close to 90. And the first pitch to Christopher, a curveball, inside ball 1. Joe with a bunt base hit. He popped the ball right over the pitcher's head his first time up. Second time up, he was out in a good play by Lefevre, the second baseman. He tries to hold off, fouls the ball out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Osteen has kept the Mets from hitting the ball hard throughout the ball game, as has Warren Spahn for the Mets against the Dodgers. It's been a really difficult pitching duel. 1 ball, 1 strike. Osteen back again, and a fastball too high for ball 2. Christopher with 7 base hits this year and 23 times up. Shade over 300. He bounces one back toward the mound. Coming in is the pitcher, Osteen. He picks it up, throws to first base, and a good play by Parker at first base for the out. Throw was in toward the runner, and Parker had to reach in there, grab it right around his ankles, and pull away to keep from getting hit. 2 good plays in the inning, and 2 men away for the Mets, and it brings up Jim Hickman. And he takes a slider in the inside corner for a strike. Jim, with no hits this year, he has been up 5 times. Hit into an outfield double play in the first inning. Pitch back is too low. Fastball low and outside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets had the bases loaded in the first when Hickman flied to right field, and Ron Fairley threw out Cleon Jones, who was trying to score. 1-1 delivery. Foul back in the screen. Again a fastball. Count moves up now to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Osteen is a very fast working pitcher. He has excellent stuff. Looks to be a fine ball player. Dodgers hoping to strengthen their pitching staff, and so far Osteen has lived up to all expectations. He comes back with a curve. Is hit down to third. Picked up by Kennedy. He goes to first base. That retires the side. 1-2-3 for the Dodgers against the Mets in the top of the 6th. And a score at the end of 5.5. The Mets nothing, the Dodgers nothing. Now a word from Cool Filter Kings.
Ever feel you're not getting what you want in a menthol cigarette? Then it's time you come up to Cool. Only Cool gives you rich, mellow tobaccos and extra coolness. The most refreshing coolness you can get in any cigarette.
Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough until you change to Cool. Just not tasting cool enough till you come up to Cool. With rich tobaccos, Cool's white filter, extra coolness too.
Discover extra coolness in your
smoke. Let Cool come through for you. You'll be smoking Cool all the time once you come up to Cool.
Come all the way up to Cool. Cool Filter Kings.
Bottom half of the sixth, and the first man up for the Dodgers will be Cloud Osteen. Cloud has had quite a record for the Dodgers. He won his first game 3-1 against Pittsburgh on a two-hitter. He struck out 8 in that ball game. So far, he has given up 3 hits to the Mets. Left-hand batter, and Warren Spahn now with his first pitch. It's low, ball 1. In the first game that Osteen pitched, there was not a put out in the outfield. The only 2 balls hit in the air in the ball game were extra base hits. A double by Bailey that was off of the glove of an outfielder, and a home run. In this ball game, only 1 ball has been hit to the outfield. That was Jim Hickman's in the first, which was turned into a double play. So in a little over 14 innings, 15 innings to be exact, only 1 put out in the outfield against Osteen, and only 3 balls hit in the air. Pitch back to the plate's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. That would indicate that Osteen has pretty good sinking stuff. 1-1 delivery by Warren Spahn is hit in the air to left field. Joe Christopher moving to his right. He's there, and he puts it away. Joe Christopher shaded over toward the left field foul line, hauled in that ball, and Osteen, incidentally, is a good athlete, and he is a good hitting pitcher. That'll bring up the shortstop, Dick Krasuski. Dick, a right-hand batter, has reached the 2 times he's been at bat in the ball game. He singled through the middle on the second pitch for a base hit, then walked on the 3-2 pitch his second time up. He takes a strike. No score in the ball game. 1 away. We're in the bottom half of the 6th. Warren Spahn against Cloud Osteen. And Warren back with a curveball. It's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Incidentally, that's only the second put out in the outfield against Warren Spahn. 2 in a row. John Kennedy flied out to center field. A bunt try, but foul. Off to the third base side. Got now at 1 ball and 2 strikes. One away, we're in the bottom half of the 6th. Down the left and right field lines, there is a foul pole at each end, and not just an ordinary foul pole. These foul poles extend up about as high as the top of the Houston Dome. They must have been put up there for Frank Howard, because he's possibly the only man that would ever hit a ball that far out there and that high. Screen on the fair side of the foul pole, as in every leg. Ground ball hit fairly hard to short. Dug out by McMillan. He throws him out. Now with 2 men away, Wes Parker will come up. Wes batting from the right-hand side. He was out on a fine double play started by Warren Spahn this last time up in the 3rd. Mets have turned in 2 double plays, so Spahn keeping the ball on the ground. Each side with 3 base hits. Warren Spahn with 2 strikeouts. He has walked 1. 2 strikeouts, bringing his total to 2,498 in his major league career. First pitch to Parker is bunted on. It's strike 1. Curveball way inside. He tried to, the last second, come off of it, but he went too far, and the home plate umpire, Ed Sudol, indicated a strike. So Wes Parker with 2 men out, trying to bunt his way on. On deck batter, Willie Davis. This is old-fashioned baseball. Here's the 1 strike delivery. Slow changeup. It's outside. Warren Spahn missing away. 1 ball, 1 strike. A lot of Mets rooters here tonight. Many a chant for "Let's Go Mets." Good crowd on hand for this first game of the 1965 season in Dodger Stadium. 1-1 delivery. Change-up screwball. It is in there for a called strike. Warren Spahn taking plenty off and turning the ball away, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Speaking of old baseball, the screwball earlier, years and years ago, according to Lindsey Nelson, was called a fadeaway. It would just fade away. Next pitch back is fouled on the screen. I wonder if that's where they got the expression, old screwball pitches never die, they just fade away.
I'll cut that out. You down drop and you're in shoot.
Whatever happened to the overhand drop, huh? Well, it's now called an overhand curveball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch, changeup, hit in the hole. It's through in the left field for a base hit. Parker rounding, Christopher throwing in, and Parker holding. That Parker really gets down that line, and Christopher had to hustle the ball in. So with 2 men out here in the bottom half of the 6th and no score, the Dodgers have a runner at first base, and Willie Davis coming up. Willie with 1 of the 4 base hits now off Warren Spahn. Willie, the fastest man in baseball, a left-hand batter. He started out playing baseball and batting from the right-hand side. He was also a pitcher. And his first pitch is low. Chris Canizero knocked it down. It was in the dirt, kept the ball right at home plate, and Wes Parker had to stay at first. He'd like to get to second in that scoring position area. Mets, of course, looking right here for a possible steal. 1 ball, no strikes on Willie Davis with Tommy Davis on deck. Parker edging off at first base. Spahn looking there. And coming to the plate. And the pitch is hit in the air to deep center field. Billy Cowan is back in the warning track. He has room, and he puts it away to retire the side. That ball hit 410 feet, just about to the wall, in center field for a long out. In the inning, no runs, no hits. Make it 1 hit. There were no errors, and 1 man left on. And the score at the end of 6, the Mets nothing, the Dodgers nothing. You know, it's hard to imagine New York City without every kind of jazz, from Dixieland to progressive. Fortunately, you don't have to. Listen.
That's Backstreet Rag, a uniquely American sound. It came up the Mississippi out of New Orleans with the Negro jazzmen who played it to the world. But they didn't stop with Dixieland and the blues. Little David's Fugue by John Lewis is a new sound that's part of a new generation. But whether it's the old jazz or the new, it's thirsty work for the musicians. And when they put down their instruments, they'll pick up a cold beer. Often Rheingold Extra Dry. In fact, in New York City, where there are more kinds of jazz than in any other city in the world, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. Why do so many people like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
Top of the 7th inning, a scoreless duel here between Claude Osteen and Warren Spahn. First man up for the Mets here in the 7th inning will be Charlie Smith. Charlie has struck out. He was out in a great play by Osteen on a bunt in his second attempt. He's now batting for the 3rd time. It'll be Charlie Smith, Billy Cowan, and Bobby Klaus. And the first pitch to the right-hand batter is high and outside, ball 1. Ball getting away from Johnny Roseboro. Johnny walking back to pick it up. Claude Osteen, working here in the 7th, has given up no runs, allowed 3 hits. They came in the 1st and 2nd innings. He has struck out 5 and walked none. And the left-hander back again. A fastball fouled away. One ball, 1 strike count. Charlie off to a slow start this year. He has 3 hits and 22 times up. He swings at a slider. It comes back and sticks right into the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mets play the Dodgers tomorrow night. Next pitch is bounced on down to short. Krzyzewski picks it up on a good hop, underhands to first base for the first out here in the 7th. Tomorrow night's game will see Don Drysdale working against the Mets. He'll be opposed by Carl Woolley. Game time will be at 11 o'clock New York time. Will be on the air at 10:55. Now the batter's Billy Cowan. Billy with a double and 2 times up. Right-hand batter, he swings at a curveball, fouls it down in the dirt. Strike 1. Cowan's double, his first hit for the Mets, was right off the end of the bat over the first baseman's head. It broke the bat right in half. And with his good speed, he made an easy stand-up double. Osteen back, a fastball, a hard swing for strike 2. Osteen with a variety of pitches. Good sinking fastball. Must be very live. Boy, the Mets have been topping the ball down in the dirt. Throws a slider and a good curve. He has hard stuff. Now the left-hander, 2 strikes. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 3. Strikeout number 6 for Claude Osteen. And with 2 away here in the top of the 7th, no score. The batter will be Bobby Klaus. Bobby is 0 for 2. 3 hits and 24 times up this year. Right-hand batter. On-deck batter is Chris Canizero. And Osteen with his first pitch, a good hard curve, too low for ball 1. Down below the knees. No score, 2 men away. We're in the top of the 7th. Pitch back is in for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bobby Klaus. Tommy Davis playing a deep left field against Bobby Klaus. Willie Davis is normal, customary shallow center field. Pitch back is too low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Bobby was 0 for 3 against the Dodgers in the first meeting between his 2 clubs this year. This is the second. Ball hit off of the hands. A fair ball picked up by Kennedy in back of the bag. He has time at first base, and his long throw gets the man. Ball went right over the top of the bag and was fielded actually in foul territory. So in the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors for the Mets, and no one left on base. And the score at the end of 6 1/2, the Mets nothing, the Dodgers nothing. If you're wondering what kind of song goes with Sorpresite and Salatici, listen to this.
Come facete mamita is sure to be sung when Italian Americans get together, and spicy pizza rustica will be served. The inevitable result is a fiery thirst.
Osteria numero 1. Bonzi va, come te non c'è nessuno. Bonzi va, sempre birra noi berremo. E ritorno canteremo. La mia meglio, la mia meglio, no.
This song brings on the beer, probably Rheingold. In New York City, where there are more Italians than in Naples, more people drink Rheingold Extra Dry than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do Italian Americans like Rheingold? We don't know, but we must be doing something right.
Bottom half of the 7th, Tommy Davis will lead off for the Dodgers. No score in the ball game. Warren Spahn now into the windup for the Mets, and his first pitch. It's hit to left field, a line drive coming in. Christopher, he dives and makes the catch. Joe Christopher taking that line drive actually about belt high if he were standing, but he dove into it anyway as the ball stayed into the air, and he made the play. Ball was hit right on the line to Joe Christopher. Couldn't be hit any harder. So Warren Spahn picks up an out on one pitch on a drive to left field. Now he'll be pitching to the fifth man in the batting order, John Roseborough. John is 0 for 2, left-hand batter. And Spahn, who has given up 4 hits, goes into the windup. And a change of pace is hit off the end of the bat foul, strike 1. Warren Spahn going to the chain screwball, picking up his first strike. In the bullpen for the Dodgers, left-hander Ron Peronowski warming up. In the bullpen for the New York Mets, Dennis Rybant, a right-hand pitcher, and left-hander Tug McGraw. There's a one-strike delivery, high and tight, a fastball in under the chin of Johnny Roseborough. 1 ball, 1 strike. Very pleasant evening here in Los Angeles. Weather predictions for the balance of the series are that the weather will be about the same as today when the temperature was right around 90 degrees. There's a 1-1 delivery hit off the end of the bat again. It's a foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ball juggled by Walter Alston as it rolls toward and into the Dodger dugout, which is located on the third base side of the field. Bullpens in this ballpark are located in back of the left field fence near the foul line and the right field fence near the foul line, with the Mets being on the right field side. Sort of like they are located in Yankee Stadium. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and now a foul ball out of play in the air this time over on the first base side. Count stays at 1-2. Just got a call from the weatherman, Mr. Lindsey Nelson, who said officially the temperature today here in Los Angeles was 84 degrees. Well, I don't know where you were, but it was hotter where I was. One ball, 2 strikes. Warren Spahn peering in for the sign from Chris Cantizero. No score in the ball game. 1 man out. We're in the bottom half of the 7th. Now Warren crossfires and misses with a fastball. Ball up too high. The count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Roseborough, left-hand batter. He'll be followed by Jim Lefebvre. Spahn into the big windup, and at 2-2. Curveball swung on a miss, strike 3. So Warren Spahn was strikeout number 2,499. He's only 1 away from 2,500. That is his 3rd strikeout in the ball game. It brings up Jim Lefebvre as Chris Cantizero goes out to the pitching mound to talk it over with Warren. Lefebvre has struck out his 2 previous times up. Both times in the sequence, Warren Spahn has gone to the change of pace on him. He's a right-hand batter. Batting at .313. And the first pitch, a screwball on the outside corner, a called strike. Perfect pitch by Warren Spahn. Mets no runs, 3 hits. Dodgers have no runs and 4. The 1-strike delivery hit into the air into left field. Joe Christopher moving over to his left is under it, and he makes the catch, and that retires aside. 1-2-3 for Warren Spahn in the 7th inning, and the score at the end of 7, the Mets nothing, the Dodgers nothing. And here are some scores of the games played today. Pittsburgh defeated San Francisco in the San Francisco opener 3-1. The winning pitcher was Bob Friend with help by McBean in the 7th inning. Losing pitcher Bob Boland. In the ballgame, Willie Mays hit his 3rd home run of the short season, number 456, the time with Mickey Mantle lifetime. And that was the only run for the Giants. In 13 innings, Philadelphia defeated Houston 2-1. The winning pitcher was Balsam in relief. Ray Herbert, the starting pitcher. Losing pitcher was Hal Witashik in relief. The starting pitcher was Ken Johnson. No home runs in the game. And other than the game right here in Los Angeles, the only game scheduled in the National League. In the American League, Boston defeated Washington 5-4. Grand slammer by Felix Mantilla. Also a home run by Bob Chance. Winning pitcher was Dave Moorhead, the losing pitcher Buster Durham, both starting pitchers in the ball game. And that was the only game scheduled in the American League. National League Hockey Stanley Cup playoffs, the Montreal Canadiens 2, the Blackhawks, Chicago Blackhawks, nothing. Montreal now leads the best of 7, 2-0. Now we're going to the top of the 8th, the scoreless duel. Here to take you along the way, Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Ralph. Coming up now in the 8th inning for the New York Mets is Chris Cannizzaro. 7 inning totals in the ball game for the Mets. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error. For the Dodgers, no runs, 4 hits, 2 errors. Cannizzaro has been up twice, struck out, and hit into a forced play. Rod Osteen, the starter, still in the ball game for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The left-hander deals, and the pitch is high and away for a ball. The second start for Osteen since he came to the Dodgers. Actually, he was with the Cincinnati Reds when he was 19 years of age, but made his reputation in the American League. With the Senators last year, he won 15 games. Here's a pitch, and it misses outside for a ball, 2-0. The Dodgers with an infield of Wes Parker at first base, Jim Lefevre at second, Dick Tracewski at shortstop, and John Kennedy at third. Tommy Davison left, Willie Davison center, and Ron Fairley in right. Here's a pitch low for a ball, so now Osteen has gone behind to Cannizzaro, 3-0. He backs out to look down to Don Hefner now to get a sign to see if he's taken on the 3-0 or if he's turned loose. Warren Spahn due up next for the Mets here in the top half of the 8th inning. Here's a 3-0 delivery. Inside, and he walked him on 4 pitch balls. Cannizzaro goes to first base. It is a leadoff walk, and that is the first one issued in this ball game by Osteen. Spahn coming up now has been up twice. He grounded out pitcher to first, and he struck out swinging. Spahn is getting a rippling of applause here from the fans on Dodger opening night. The Dodgers played 4 seasons at the Coliseum here in Los Angeles, and tonight they are starting their 4th season here at Dodger Stadium. John Kennedy to protect against the bunt is in on the grass at third now. Off the stretch, here's the pitch. He squares, bunts the ball on the first baseline. Kennedy comes across, gets it placed to Lefevre in time, but the sacrifice is successfully executed. It moves Cannizzaro into scoring position at second base. Cleon Jones coming up with 1 man out. Spahn bunted the ball actually down the first baseline, and Kennedy just kept right on coming and came across to play it down to Lefevre, the second baseman, who was covering it first. Cleon Jones had a swinging roller for a base hit to lead off this game in the top of the first. Since then, he has been called out on strikes and grounded out pitcher to first. Bob Miller is up and throwing in the bullpen now for the Dodgers. He's a right-hander, along with left-hander Ron Peronowski. No score in the game, top half of the 8th inning. Bending from the waist now, Osteen gets the sign. He's up and set. Cannizzaro takes the lead at second. Here's the pitch to Cleon, way outside for a ball. Roy McMillan waiting on deck for the Mets. The second meeting of the season between the Mets and the Dodgers. They met at Shea Stadium in New York on opening day, and the Dodgers won that one. Osteen checks. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground up the middle, off the glove. And it's taken by Tracewski back in the bag. He throws to first. Not in time. He beat it out at first base. Cleon Jones beat it out. Cannizzaro moved to third on the play. And now it'll be McMillan coming up with 1 man out. Runners at first and third. Hit number 4 for the Mets off Claude Osteen. Conference at the mound now. Third baseman John Kennedy has come over to talk to Osteen. John Roseborough is out there as well. Cleon Jones legging out the base hit, his second leg hit of this ball game. McMillan was on an error by Tracewski in the first inning. Grounded out short to first in the third, grounded out third to first in the sixth. Tracewski from short has come into the mound to join the conference, and now it's breaking up. The Mets with runners at first and third. 1 man out in the top half of the 8th inning. And we're going to get a pinch runner here. Johnny Lewis has come out of the dugout. Johnny Lewis is coming across to run for Chris Canizero. This would be to get speed at third base in the event McMillan can get a fly ball to the outfield. Mets want to have sufficient speed to try to get that run in from third. So Canizero goes out of the ball game. Mets are amply protected in the catching department. They have Hawk Taylor and Jesse Gonder behind Canizero. So Canizero is out of the game, and Johnny Lewis is the runner at third base. John Kennedy is still in at the mound talking to Claude Osteen, and the warm-ups are continuing in the Dodger bullpen. Hawk Taylor is being brought in from the Met bullpen now to the dugout. That would be to get him ready to assume the catching duties in the next inning. Kennedy even with the bag at third. Parker at first holding against the runner. Second baseman and shortstop at double play depth. Here's the pitch, and it's outside for a ball. 1-0 to Roy McMillan. Tense situation here in the top half of the eighth inning at Dodger Stadium. Good speed on the bases for the Mets with Cleon Jones at first and Johnny Lewis at third. Jan Osteen is set. And the pitch. Low for a ball. He goes behind McMillan. 2 balls and no strikes. Osteen takes a look around his outfield. Now looks over at third, where Johnny Lewis is the runner. McMillan's outside the batter's box, coming back in now. Joe Christopher is on deck for the Mets. Runners lead first and third, and this is a 2-0 pitch. Swung on and foul off to the right side and out of play, going into the seats. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
810 on your dial, WGY, WGFM, Schenectady, the voice of the Mets in the great Northeast.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. The game is scoreless. We're in the top half of the eighth inning. 1 man out, the Mets with runners at first and third. This is a 2-1 pitch to Roy McMillan. He's fast to bat and pushes it to the right side. The squeeze play. Lewis scores. Parker takes the ball, flips over to Lefebvre for the out at first, but the run is scored. Cleon Jones moving to second as the Mets effect the squeeze play to score a run here in the top half of the eighth. And McMillan pushed that ball to the right side perfectly. Sacrifice and a run batted in for Roy McMillan. The play went 3-4 as Parker went for the ball. Lefebvre went for the bag. Cleon Jones is at second now, in scoring position. 2 men out, and Christopher's coming up. Johnny Lewis scoring from third on the squeeze play. Christopher, leg run out in the first inning. Since then, he's grounded out twice. His pitch misses outside for a ball. Osteen goes behind, 1-0. The Mets won and the Dodgers nothing here in the top half of the eighth inning. Osteen now on the backside of the mound, looking around, taking a moment. Back up now, looking in for a sign. Christopher waving that bat in the batter's box. Now he has it cocked. Cleon Jones takes his lead at second base. Osteen with the pitch, and it's low for a ball. He goes behind Christopher, 2-0. In case you've joined us along the way, the Mets had the bases loaded with nobody out in the first inning, the top half of the first inning. Hickman hit a line drive to right field, and Ron Fairley came in and caught, and then Cleon Jones was thrown out at the plate. Here's a swing on a pop to the right side in foul territory. Wes Parker has a play, and he makes the catch. So Christopher fouls out to first base to retire the side. In the top of the eighth, the Mets got a run on a hit. There was a walk, no errors, and 1 left, and the score at the end of 7.5 innings is the Mets 1 and the Dodgers nothing. And now a word from Cool Filter King.
More and more smokers are discovering that there's one cigarette that gives you something no other cigarette offers. That cigarette is Cool Filter Kings, the only cigarette that gives you rich tobaccos, Cool's white filter, and extra coolness.
Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough
Until you change to Cools.
Just not tasting cool enough
Till you come up to Cools.
with rich tobacco's Cool's white filter, extra coolness too.
Discover extra coolness in your smoke.
Let Cool's come through for you. You'll be smoking Cool's all the time once you come up to Cool's.
Discover extra coolness. Come all the way up to Cool. Cool Filter Kings.
For the New York Mets now, as we go to the bottom half of the eighth inning, Johnny Lewis stays in the ball game in right field. Cleon Jones comes out of the ball game. Hawk Taylor takes over the catching duties. So if you're keeping a scorecard, Hawk Taylor bats number 1 in place of Cleon Jones. Johnny Lewis, of course, came in to run for Canizero. He bats number 8 in the batting order. Ron Fairley, left-hand batter, up to lead off for the Dodgers here. In the bottom half of the eighth, Warren Spahn still on the mound for the Mets. Fairley has been up twice, and both times he grounded out second to first. Charlie Smith at third for the Mets is even with the edge of the grass against the left-hand batter. Warren Spahn starts the fluid motion. Here's the first pitch. Swung on and hit deep to right. It's way back in the corner. Johnny Lewis races over near the line. He's there, and he makes the catch for the out. One away. And that will bring up John Kennedy, the third baseman. He's 1 for 2. Here is the official plate attendance here on Dodger opening night in Los Angeles. 36,161. 36161 paid here. The New York Mets, with the Dodgers as their opponents on opening day in New York, drew 37,999. So the Mets outdrew the Dodgers on their opening attraction of this season. Here's the pitch from it. It's off the leg of Spahn towards first. He chases, throws on, and got him. Kennedy drilled that one off Spahn's leg, and now Warren is exercising around, walking around. Jim Hickman is there with him. Bobby Klaus is there with him. That one was drilled right back off his leg and ricocheted over toward first. He pounced on it and made the play on. Apparently he's all right. 2 men out, nobody on base, and Al Ferrara is coming up now to bat for Claude Osteen. Al Ferrara is going to bat for Osteen here in the bottom half of the eighth inning. Ferrara is a right-hand batter. He's been up twice this year without a hit so far. So Osteen is out of the ball game, having pitched 8 innings, in which he gave up 1 run on 4 hits. He struck out 6 and he walked 1. Ferrara is in and waiting with 2 men out and nobody on base for the Dodgers, batting in the bottom half of the eighth. Warren Spahn into the motion. The pitch swung on and fouled off. Bob Miller is the man throwing in the bullpen for the Dodgers right now. Bob Miller, a former Met. Dennis Ryban and Tug McGraw still working in the bullpen for the Mets. Spahn again looks to Hawk Taylor for his sign. A pitch swung on and lined down the right field line. Could be for extra bases. Takes a hop off the wall, chased by Lewis, and he overruns it. Ferrara around second. He's on his way to third. The throw comes across, and he's safe at third base. Al Ferrara for 3 bases. He lined that one down the right field line. Johnny Lewis had no chance to get to it. And as he played it off the wall, tried to get it in a hurry and overran it for a moment. But it scored as a triple for Al Ferrara. And with 2 men out, the Dodgers have a runner at third. Krasuski is coming up. He's a right-hand batter. The Mets are leading by a score of 1-0. And that gets the Dodger crowd alive here. Ron starts the motion. He's working straight away to Krasuski. That pitch is low for a ball.
Tracewski singled up the middle to open the ball game for the Dodgers in the bottom of the first. He walked in the third, and he grounded out short to first in the sixth. Again the pitch. And it misses, low and away. It's 2-0 now as Spahn goes behind Tracewski. Al Ferrara at third base for the Dodgers. Bonnie moving around a little out down the mound now, mops his brow for a moment. The hit by Ferrara was number 5 off Spahn in this game. He's looking to Hawk Taylor for a sign. And Tracewski backs out of the batter's box. Now he comes back in. Spahn starts the motion. 2-0 delivery to Tracewski. Swung on and lined into left. Christopher's there, and he makes the catch. So the side is retired as Christopher hauls it down in left. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. In the bottom half of the 8th inning, and the score at the end of 8 full innings. The Mets 1 and the Dodgers nothing, and here's Ralph Kiner.
Say, if you want to pick up your tickets for that New York Yankee game coming up on May the 3rd when the Mets return home just ahead of their opener with the Philadelphia Phillies on that good homestand coming up, here are the places that you can do so. At Shea Stadium, the ticket offices there are open from 8 to 6 on weekdays, weekends from 9 to 5. At Pennsylvania Station in the Long Island Railroad Waiting Room, ticket offices there open from 8 to 6 on weekdays and on Saturdays from 8:30 to 4. Grand Central Terminal at the foot of the 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue ramp. Ticket office open there from 8 to 6 on weekdays and Saturdays from 8:30 to 4. And Macy's in Huntington, Long Island, your ticket office there is open during the store hours. You can make your reservations for box and reserve seats at all the Howard Kohl stores in the metropolitan area. Don't forget those big dates. May 3rd, it's going to be the New York Mets against the New York Yankees in their third meeting for the Mayor's Trophy game. It's a charitable cause and a real big event. Mets and Yankees have met and broken even in all their engagements, and this will be sort of the rubber of the series up to this point. And the big one will be the coming homestand when the Mets return home from a long road trip when they play against the Philadelphia Phillies on May the 4th. They'll play the Phillies 2 games, then Milwaukee 4 ball games, St. Louis 2, and then Cincinnati 4. And all those games, big games, because these are contending ball clubs. That's the way it looks right now. It's the top of the 9th, a new pitch in the ball game, and once again, Lindsey Nelson.
Right, Ralph, and it is Bob Miller, a former Met, who's come on now. This is his second appearance of the season. He worked 2 innings in a losing cause against Philadelphia. He was not charged with the loss. He allowed only 1 hit and no runs, and he struck out 2. Casey Stingle's going to counter by bringing Ed Kranepool on to bat for Jim Hickman as Casey goes to his bench to get the left-hander against right-hand pitcher Bob Miller. Kranepool has hit safely in 6 straight games, and he is hitting .455, and he is coming up here for the first time tonight as a pinch hitter. Bob Miller last year had an earned run average of 2.61 as he worked in 74 games for the Dodgers to tie Jim Constante's National League record. He had a mark of 7 wins and 7 losses. And so now it is Bob Miller on the mound for the Dodgers. And here's the pitch to Ed Kranepool. Low for a ball. Ed moved back taking the pitch. 1-0. Top half of the 9th inning with the Mets leading the Dodgers by a score of 1-0. Bob Miller's pitch fired in for a called strike. It's 1-1. Charlie Smith is on deck now for the Mets. The 1-1 delivery. Missed outside, and it's 2-1. And the pitch swung on and fouled off. It's 2-2.
Bob Miller was an expansion draft selection of the Mets off the Cardinal roster, and in the one season that he spent with the Mets, he won 1 game and lost 12. But he has developed into one of the sturdy members of the Dodger Relief Corps here in Los Angeles. The count to Cranepool now is 2-2. Miller's pitch swung on and fouled off to the left side and out of play. The Mets got their run in the top of the 8th when Chris Cannizzaro drew a walk. Warren Spahn sacrificed him to second. He moved to third when Cleon Jones' leg got an infield hit. And then Johnny Lewis ran for Cannizzaro and scored on a squeeze with Roy McMillan bunting the ball. Here's a swing and a ground ball. It's going to go through to center field for a base hit. And Cranepool has hit safely in 7 straight games as he gets his hit here as a pinch hitter, leading off for the Mets in the top half of the 9th inning. The Dodgers had swung their defense way over to play Cranepool to pull, and at second base, Jim Lefevre moved swiftly to his right to try to get a glove on that ball, but it eluded him by inches. Charlie Smith coming up now, looking down to read Don Hefner's sign at third. Miller will work off the stretch now, and the pitch. Charlie Smith squares but takes low for a ball. John Kennedy charging in from third. Wes Parker charging in from first to field. What they figured would be a bunt. Smith has struck out. Bunted out, pitcher to first, bunting for a base hit, and grounded out. Jim Brewer and Ron Peronowski throwing in the Dodger bullpen. Here's a check swing, foul ball. He was actually ducking to get out of the way and fouled it off into the seat. 1-1 to count to Charlie Smith. Cranepool's the runner at first, and Wes Parker is holding against him there. Big Tom Parsons throwing down the Met bullpen. Charlie Smith squares, bunts it foul, off to the right side and out of play. That's trying to sacrifice Cranepool on to second, but it's 1-2 now to Charlie Smith. The Mets are leading by a score of 1-0, and they're batting in the top half of the 9th inning. Bob Miller to the rosin bag, just briefly, just for a touch. Looks into Roseboro, has the sign up and said, here's the pitch. And it's high, and Charlie Smith had shortened up as though to bunt. The count is 2-2. Cranepool, with that base hit, upped his batting average to .478. Cranepool leads at first. 2-2 pitch to Charlie Smith. Swings and pops it up to the right side. At first base, Parker's waiting near the bag, and he makes the catch in foul territory. So Charlie Smith is fouled out to first. One away, and Billy Cowan is coming up. Cowan doubled in the second inning, lined it down the right field line, a broken bat double, and since then he has struck out twice. Totals in the ball game to this point: the Mets 1 run on 5 hits, 1 error. The Dodgers no runs, 5 hits, 2 errors. Rod Osteen worked 8 innings for the Dodgers, in which he allowed 1 run on 4 hits. Throw over, not in time. Now Miller goes to the rosin bag. And the pitch to Cowan. He tries to bunt and moves back to take it inside for ball 1. He had squared as though to bunt it, and then in staggering back takes it inside for a ball. Bobby Klaus is on deck for the Mets here in the top half of the 9th inning. Miller's pitch, and it's bunted. Bob Miller up with the ball. He'll have to go to first. The Fever's covering, and the throw is wide. It's going on into right field. Cranepool's at third. He turns, and he's being held up there
Here's a throw across the diamond. He gets back safely. It is off the chest of the third baseman. Kennedy rolls over toward the coaching box. Cowan is at second. Cranepool is at third. With one man out, an error is choiced on the pitcher, Bob Miller. Sacrifice and an error. A sacrifice and an error. As Cowan bunted the ball about halfway to the mound, Bob Miller came downfield to the ball and then threw wildly to Jim Lefevre, the second baseman. Covering first, it went on down the right field line, was retrieved by Ron Fairley. Cranepool took a wide turn at third, and Don Hefner had to hold him up there. And then Fairley tried to throw across the diamond, and Cranepool scrambled back. Here comes Walter Alston running out of the dugout and running to the mound. The Mets have runners at second and third. One man out, and Bobby Klaus coming up. John Roseborough is out there. Shortstop Dick Trasuski's out there. In the bullpen, Jim Brewer and Ron Peronoski are throwing for the Dodgers. Austin continues his conference. Talking at the moment to Roseborough and now to Bob Miller. Umpire Ed Sudol has joined the group, and it's breaking up. Austin turns to walk back to the dugout. Bobby Klaus grounded out short to first. He was on an error by Trasuski, and he grounded out third to first so far in this game. Dodgers have to bring the infield in now with one man out. Runners at second and third. Miller is looking in to get a sign. Ron Swoboda has moved out on deck for the Mets. Here's the pitch, and it's low and away for a ball. Johnny Lewis would be scheduled next up for the Mets in the batting order, but Ron Swoboda, a right-hand batter, is swinging a bat on deck. Now here's the pitch. And it misses high for a ball to Klaus. So Miller goes behind Klaus 2-0. The Mets leading here by a score of 1-0. Top of the ninth. 2-0 pitch to Klaus, way outside. 3 balls and no strikes. They figured that time the squeeze might be on, and they went for the pitch out to go behind 3-0. Roseborough moving way out to take that one. As Miller fired it outside, a 2-0 pitch, so now he's gone behind 3-0. The squeeze was not on. First base open here, and the pitch is outside. He walked him as he moved out to take it, and the bases are loaded, and Austin comes out of the dugout, so a change is mandatory as he comes out for the second time in the inning. Swoboda is being called back now to the dugout. Austin, in the center of the diamond, he's sort of alone because Miller and Roseborough are talking things over halfway between the plate and the mound, and now Austin invites them to join him. And we'll have a pitching change. This is the second time the manager's been out in the inning, and that makes the change mandatory when he crosses the line. And it looks to be Ron Peronoski. Ron Peronoski is the man who is walking in now for the Dodgers. And this is his first appearance of the 1965 season. Miller worked a third of an inning. He gave up 1 hit. He walked 1.
is responsible for both the runners who are on base now. Johnny Lewis now has come out swinging bat. He is a left-hand batter. Peronoski, a left-hand pitcher. The last 3 years, Peronoski has appeared in 211 games. 70, 69, and last year 72. Last year was his busiest. It was the first time in 3 seasons he hadn't led the league in appearances. Bob Miller topped him at 74. But Peronoski had the distinction of finishing the most games in the league, 52 of them. It was, however, a disappointing season for him. His earned run average last year zoomed up to 3.10. And he won only 5 games. Year before last, he had won 16. He's taking a warm-up tosses right now. Johnny Lewis standing outside the batter's box. The bases are loaded for the New York Mets. Bobby Klaus is the runner at first. Billy Cowan the runner at second. Ed Kranepool is the runner at third. There's one man out. Dodgers keep the infield in as Johnny Lewis comes up here. This is the first time up for Lewis. As a pinch runner, he scored the only run that's been scored in this game. But he's up for the first time tonight, bringing with him a consecutive game hitting streak of 6 straight. Left-hand batter facing left-hand pitcher. Lewis is hitting .350 for the season. Peronoski off the stretch here. There's a swing and a foul ball. Jammed him a little and right off the fist. It is out of play for strike 1. Warren Spahn is on deck for the Mets. We're in the top half of the 9th inning. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Opening night for the Dodgers. Their home opener. $36,181 paid. Peronoski working on the ball, taking all the time in the world. He is in no hurry. So Lewis steps out of the batter's box. Peronoski now hands on hips. Has the sign, goes into the stretch. Strike 1 delivery, and it misses. Low and away. It's 1-1 to Johnny Lewis. Peronoski kicks at the rubber. Now looks into John Roseberry to get his sign as Lewis swings the bat as he waits. Runners lead first, second, and third. The pitch swung on and looped into center for a base hit. Kranepool scores. Cowan rounds third. Billy Cowan scores. Klaus goes to third, goes in standing. Lewis, with a consecutive game hitting streak of 7 straight, is on at first. 2 runs batted in, and the Mets lead by a score of 3-0. And now Warren Spahn is coming up for the Mets. And a good many of the Dodger faithful head for the exits here now at Dodger Stadium. The aisles are jammed down below now. The Dodgers still have the infield in with runners at first and third. Spahn up there, and Tracewski's trying to get some information out of the dugout. Do you want us in or out? Now, he wants to go back, but he's being brought in. Peronoski's pitch is high and away. Both those runs are charged against Bob Miller. Johnny Lewis's batting average now is .381 as both he and Kranepool have hit safely in every game the Mets have played this year. Spahn now backs out of the batter's box. Spahn has gone 0 for 2 and a sacrifice. It was a big sacrifice in the top of the 8th that moved Cannizzaro along, and later Lewis, running for Cannizzaro, scored the first Met run on a squeeze play with Roy McMillan bunting the ball. Here's the pitch to Spahn. Swung out, hit in the air to left. Klaus tags at third. Tommy Davis makes the catch. Klaus is going to try it. Here's the throw to the plate. It is
at the plate. He is out. He is out at the plate. Roseboro lunged for him, and we're waiting to see if he got him. He was trying to evade the tag without the slide, and he is out at the plate. It's a double play. So Warren Spahn flies out to left. Tommy Davis throws Klaus out at the plate. Davis to Roseboro. But the Mets in the top half of the ninth inning picked up 2 runs on 2 hits. There was 1 error, and there was 1 man left. So at the end of 8.5 innings, it is the Mets 3 and the Dodgers nothing. Yedzi boat isn't something you row or sail, you sing it like this.
Jedzia Bort is a song that gets sung over and over at Polish parties and picnics until the singers raise a fearful thirst. Then they change their tune. Piwo is the traditional Polish call for beer, and often it's Rheingold Extra Dry they call for. In fact, in New York City, where there are more Poles than in all of Świdnica, more people drink Rheingold than any other beer. And Rheingold is going great in New Jersey, New England, and Pennsylvania, too. Why do Polish Americans like Rheingold? We don't know. But we must be doing something right.
We're going to the bottom half of the ninth inning, and the Dodgers are scheduled to send up Wes Parker, Willie Davis, and Tommy Davis. Wes Parker is a right-hand batter facing left-hander Warren Spahn, who started and has been in all the way thus far for the Mets. The Mets have Dennis Ryban and Tug McGraw working in the bullpen as we start the bottom half of the ninth with the Mets leading 3-0. Spahn looks to Hawk Taylor to get a sign. Here's his first pitch to Wes Parker. Swung on and line over the head of Klaus at second into right field for a leadoff base hit. Lewis is up with it, plays it back in, and Parker is on with a line single. Klaus left the ground, leaped as high as he could, but it was over his outstretched glove. That brings up Willie Davis. That is base hit number 6 for the Dodgers off Spahn. Willie Davis is 1 for 3. Hit the ball about 400 feet the last time up. That is in the bottom of the 6th, but it was taken by Billy Cowan in the warning track in center field. He's a left-hand batter. Spahn off the stretch with the pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to first. Taken by Crane. He drops the ball. Nobody covers first, and both runners are safe. They're both safe. It is scored as an error, charged against Ed Kranepool. The ball was hit right at Kranepool, and he was in a hurry to try to go for the double play. And trying to get the ball out of the glove to foul to McMillan at second, he dropped the ball. By the time he picked it up, he had no play. Both runners are safe. And Tommy Davis is coming up here with nobody out, representing potential tying run at the plate in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Ryban and McGraw working in the bullpen.
810 on your dial, WGY Schenectady, the voice of the Mets in the great Northeast.
Runners lead at first and second. The pitch misses outside for a ball. Start him off with a Scroogie. Suddenly the Dodgers have come alive. Casey Stengel in the Met dugout, pacing up and down, up and down. Chris Canizaro's in there doing a little pacing at this time, too. John Roseborough's on deck. Here's Spahn's pitch. It's a called strike off the outside corner, 1-1. And the Dodger fans are in disagreement with Ed Tudal's call on the pitch. The Mets 3 and the Dodgers nothing, with the Dodgers batting in the bottom half of the ninth inning. 2 men on and nobody out. Spahn off the stretch. The 1-1 pitch to Tommy Davis. Swung on, and it is hit into right field for a base hit. Rounding third and coming home now is Wes Parker. Willie Davis goes to third. He holds there. Tommy Davis holds at first. It's 3-1. Runners at first and third, nobody out, and John Roseboro coming up. That ball hit just by Bobby Klaus.
Well, Warren Spahn, who holds the record for most shutouts in the National League by a left-hander, had 63, and he was on his way to 64 here, but the Dodgers now have scored a run, and this ball game is getting down to the fine point.
Manager Casey Stengel wants to go with Spahn, of course, as long as he can. He's on the top step of the dugout right now. Still nobody out. Potential tying runs are on base here now for the Dodgers. Klaus and McMillan are at double play depth with Roseboro up there. Cranepool's holding against the runner. Charlie Smith on the grass at third. Willie Davis, the runner at third. Tommy Davis, the runner at first. Good speed on the bases for the Dodgers. Bond pitch swung out, hit into right field for a base hit. Willie Davis comes down to score. Tommy Davis to third. And Lewis throw is cut off and holding at first is Roseboro, and Casey Stengel is coming to the mound. It's the Mets 3 and the Dodgers 2, and they're going to get a pinch runner now. A pinch runner is coming into the ball game. It's Pee Wee Oliver coming on now to run for John Roseboro. Casey Stengel is at the mound. It will be Lefebvre coming up. He's a switch hitter for the Dodgers. Still nobody out. The tying run is at third. The potential winning run is on at first. The Mets 3 and the Dodgers 2. Pee Wee Oliver is running for Roseboro at first. Tommy Davis is the runner at third. The conference is still going on at the mound. Casey is still talking to Warren Spahn. Hawk Taylor is there. Tom Gorman is the umpire there at the moment now also. No sound has gone to the bullpen as yet. The Mets leading at 3-2. Casey's going to leave Spahn in the ball game. Spahn is staying in the ball game with Lefebvre coming up. So you can bet your life that Spahn told Casey he wanted to stay in there. You can bet that he did a job of selling right there to stay in this ball game. And nobody would like to see him be able to go all the way and get a win more than Casey, and he's going to go with Warren Spahn. Lefebvre has been up 3 times without a hit. The Mets have to bring the infield in now with a potential tying run on at third. Mets 3 and the Dodgers 2. Lefebvre's up and Fairley is on deck. Here's the pitch, and it misses outside for a ball. Of course, the Mets have to be alert to the possibility of the squeeze to get the tying run in here with nobody out. Runners at first and third. Spahn is up and set. Here's a pitch to Lefebvre, and it's in there for a called strike. 1-1. Spahn to the Rosenbach. Lefebvre looks down to Preston Gomez, the Dodger coach at third, to get his sign. Mets with the infield in. Spahn looks at both runners. Now he's up and set. 1-1 pitch to Lefebvre. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Spahn again, just to the Rosenbach. Takes off his glove and massages the baseball. Ron Fairley waiting on deck. Runners lead at first and third. Spahn is up and set. The pitch to Lefebvre. He struck him out. And that is 2,500 strikeouts for Warren Spahn. His 4th strikeout of this game. He has reached a career mark of 2,500 strikeouts. But he is more interested right now in Ron Fairley, coming up with 1 man out. Still, potential tying run at third, potential winning run at first. That's the 3rd time tonight that Spahn has struck out Lefebvre. Fairley is a right-hand batter who is grounded out, and slide to right. He steps back out of the batter's box for 1 moment now. Comes back in, swinging to the bat. Spahn working off the stretch.
Runners lead at first and third. Bond pitched to Fairley. Swung on and foul out of play into the seats down the right field line. He got way around. Pulled it foul. A long strike one. Bonnie's working on the ball on the mound. The Mets 3, the Dodgers 2 in the bottom of the ninth. Bond looks to Hawk Taylor to get a sign. He's set. Here's a throw to first, and he's back safely. Nate Oliver, the base runner there. Bonnie trying for a pickoff, which would be a big one for him if he could effect it here. There's all sorts of action in the Mets dugout. Wes Westrom pacing around. Casey still pacing around. Here's the strike one delivery. Swung on and missed. It's strike two to Ron Fairley. He had him chasing one low and away. Bond just touches the rosin bag. Now kicks at the rubber. Takes off the glove. Moves the bill of his cap back a little bit. A two-strike count to Fairley with John Kennedy on deck for the Dodgers. Bond has his sign up and set. Two-strike delivery. And it's hit back to Spahn. And he has Tommy Davis hung up. He's running right at him. Throws to Tommy. Down the line. He's going to try to outrun Smith. He's out. He's out. Oliver to second. And on at first now is Ron Fairley. That ball was hit right back to Spahn. There are two men out. He ran right at Tommy Davis. Finally made the toss over to Smith. And Smith tagged Tommy Davis, who was trying to outrun him for the plate. Two men out. Runners at first and second. And John Kennedy coming up. Fairley just tapped that ball. Back to the mound. Fielded cleanly by Spahn. Now Spahn, with his back to the stands, is working on the ball, looking around. Kennedy lined a single to center in the third inning. Flied to center in the fifth and grounded out pitcher to first in the eighth inning. Nate Oliver is the runner at second. Ron Fairley is the runner at first. Here's a swing and a miss for strike one. John Kennedy with his cut. Jens Spahn looks into Hawk Taylor. Mets 3 and the Dodgers 2. Spahn sets. Cranfield makes a move to the bag at first base. Spahn stepped off. Now he's set again. Strike one pitch. Misses low and away for a ball. It's 1-1 to John Kennedy at the plate. Cranfield at first. He stayed in the ball game after he batted for Hickman and got a base hit. One and one the count to Kennedy at the plate with two men out. On again. Off the stretch. 1-1 pitch. And it's low for a ball. He goes behind now to Kennedy, 2-1. Peronowski is the scheduled next batter for the Dodgers. He's on deck. And the Dodger fans now start a little rhythmic applause as Spahn is up and set. This is a 2-1 pitch to Kennedy. Swung on and missed. It's 2-2. But with a screwball, Hawk Taylor walks out in front of the plate. Now returns the ball to Spahn. He goes to the rosin bag, takes off his glove. He kicks at the rubber. Nate Oliver at second. Ron Fairley at first. Two men out. Mets leading 3-2 in the bottom of the ninth. Spahn looks to Hawk Taylor. Has the sign up and set. 2-2 pitch. He struck him out, and the ball game's over. And Warren Spahn is wanted. He's running in now. He wants the baseball. He gets it from Hawk Taylor. Chris Canizaro's out there. Casey Stengel is coming out. Casey stayed with Spahn, and he delivered for him.
with strikeout number 2,501. Warren Spahn gets his first victory for the New York Mets. It is the first victory Warren Spahn ever got for anybody besides the Braves. He went all the way. It's a root-going performance and a milestone in the career of Warren Spahn. His last complete game was a 3-2 loss at Philadelphia on the 17th of July last year. His last complete game was 4-2. His last complete winning game was a 4-2 win at Cincinnati on May the 19th of last year. But Spahn has beat the Dodgers on opening night here by a score of 3-2. And to tell you something of how he did it, here's Ralph Kiner.
Warren Spahn, only 3 days away from being 44 years of age, came through in a style that he has been known for many, many years in baseball. Warren, making his 637th start in the major leagues, came through with a brilliant performance in the ninth inning with a tying run at third base and the go-ahead run at first. So that's the way the story was. It was a pitching duel between Warren Spahn and Clyde Osteen all the way until the Mets scored the first run of the ball game when they came up with a run in the eighth inning. In the inning, the leadoff batter walked. It was Chris Canacero. He was sacrificed by Spahn on down to second base. He then went over to third on an infield hit by Cleon Jones. Then Roy McMillan, executing a perfect squeeze play, scored Johnny Lewis, who had gone in the run for Chris Canacero. The Mets holding the lead 1-0, added two more in the ninth inning. And in this one, it was Ed Kranepool started the rally. Ed getting a base hit, now has hit in 7 consecutive ball games. His base hit came as a pinch hitter. Later on, it was Johnny Lewis batting for the first time, who drove in 2 big runs. The runs that gave the Mets their final victory, 3-2. Lewis getting a base hit, getting now a base hit in the first 7 ball games that the Mets have played. So Lewis and Kranepool and Warren Spahn coming through in fine fashion. Losing pitch in the ball game was Clyde Osteen. His record 1-1. He was aided on the mound by Bob Miller and Ron Peronowski. For Warren Spahn, he struck out his 2,501st baseball batter in the ninth inning, the final strikeout of the ball game. Warren picking up his 2,500th strikeout just ahead. So Warren Spahn coming through with the tying run on base and getting the Mets their first victory here in Los Angeles. Line scores of the ball game. For the Mets, 3 runs on 6 hits. They made 2 errors, left 6 men on. The Dodgers, 2 runs, 8 hits. They made 3 errors and left 6 on. 2 big plays in the ball game for the Dodgers to keep the Mets from scoring. They twice had double plays from the outfield on throws home to catch a runner after catching a fly ball in the ball game. Well, this game was brought to you by Rheingold, New York City's largest selling beer. And what a remarkable thing that is. In New York, a city of so many different people with different tastes, one beer has become the favorite, Rheingold Extra Dry. We don't know why so many people like our beer, but we must be doing something right, and we'll keep right on doing it. Today's game was also brought to you by Kool. Come up to Kool for the most refreshing coolness you can get in any cigarette. Smoke Kool Filter Kings, and by the Shell Oil Company, makers of Super Shell, the gasoline for good mileage. Stop at the Clean White Pump for Super Shell.
In all baseball land, there are no fans so grand as our Mets fans. When we play other teams, oh, what blood-curdling screams, that's our Mets fans. But when Mets fans shout, go, what they mean we all know. We've got no place to go but up.
Well, this ball game here tonight in Los Angeles, a super thriller. So we hope you can be with us tomorrow at 10:55 as the Mets again meet the Los Angeles Dodgers. Our engineer tonight was Sandy Helper, our statistician, Matt Winnick, our producer, Joe Gallagher, our executive producer, Joel Nixon. The final score again, the Mets 3, the Dodgers 2. And this is Ralph Kiner saying so long for Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
810 on your dial, WGY, WGFM, Schenectady.